To order of the WTCMUD1 board meeting. I'd like to thank the constables for being here tonight. And I am going to remind everybody that the meeting is being recorded and will be on the MUD website, like in 72 hours after the meeting. Okay, so the first person on the agenda tonight is Sarah Teal, and she has asked to speak on 15 agenda items, so you are going to get 1 minute per agenda item. So the first agenda item that you are going to do is you're going to do a public comment.
At the DRC meeting on Monday, I was ejected, and I deserved it. I did disrupt the meeting, and I allowed my passion for truth-telling to bubble over in a way that was inappropriate. Luis was right that I believe strongly in civil discourse, which requires a dispassionate exchange to enhance understanding. I was not dispassionate, and I take full responsibility for acting inappropriately. I will refrain from disrupting the meeting in the future and will limit my comments about what is happening to the interactive live stream of this meeting. Of course, I will also continue to use the public comment section of the board meeting to highlight information or concerns I have. Before I begin my comments this evening, I do want to point out that it will be rather long, addressing in 1 minute increments 15 different items that are on the agenda. I am able to do this because the agenda that is created for each meeting has no specificity, instead encompassing everything but the kitchen sink. This lack of specificity highlights an important gap in transparency. It should only include items that the board will actually be addressing so constituents can research those items and understand what would be covered at the meeting.
Okay. That was good. Okay. Reset.
Number 7.
Legal actions against people who disrupt board meetings. As I mentioned above, I take responsibility for disrupting the flow of the last meeting, but the way I was ejected was not acceptable. The board has begun to believe that they have the right to demand that the constable remove constituents when they believe they are out of order. This is an inappropriate overstep of their power. I visited this morning at the Precinct 2 Williamson County Constable's office with Constable Rick Kaufman and Lieutenant William Beechinor. I explained my concern that this board has been using their contract with the constables to carry out their bidding. Lieutenant Beechinor indicated that this would be inappropriate. The constable's first priority is to uphold the law, not bend to the will of the board directors, regardless of whether they sign their paycheck. Whether or not a constituent is deemed out of order lies solely in the hands of the officer. The constable's office will be investigating this incident and 2 others that I brought to their attention at today's meeting.
Okay.
Number 9.
Prior and pending open records requests. The district continues to record their open records costs and report them out loud each month in a very misleading way. They report the direct and indirect costs. The direct costs are just the money that they are shoveling over in bucket loads to the 2 separate law firms that they have hired to make getting public records as difficult as possible. This month, those legal costs have ballooned to over $45,000. The indirect costs are not even real money. They are an imagined cost that Infomark would be paid if servicing open records request wasn't already a part of their contract, but it is. So the actual cost to district for indirect costs is 0. The board has a choice how to act here, pay for transparency or for secrecy. I know how I personally would rather have my tax dollars spent.
12D.
Contract with water conservation consultant, xeriscaping and drought-tolerant plants. Austin AgriLife Extension has a program called Grow Green that is a gardening education program that promotes sustainable landscaping practices. It is offered to landscaping companies so that they can choose water-wise natives that will help improve water quality and the watershed in general. I looked to see if the company who is servicing the district at the moment, Sunscapes, was on the list of Grow Green companies. They are not. The company previously used, Ecosystems, is. I have noticed in these meetings a lot of talk of dead and dying plants. I have to wonder if the best company to service our environmental needs has been hired. In the 1.5 years that I have attended meetings, I have never seen the contractor do a xeriscape and drought-tolerant plant demonstration, as indicated in the agenda.
And that's called Grow Green?
It's called Grow Green, and the Texas AgriLife supports that.
12E.
Park and pond improvements, tree and plant replacements. As I mentioned above, I have heard about in meetings and seen with my own eyes suffering landscape all over the district. I am not a master naturalist, but I am an avid gardener and a lover of native plants. And when I look around, I see non-native species all over the place. Whoever is choosing the plans to put in is not putting an eye towards the increased survivability of natives. I think a greater oversight needs to be placed over the landscaping company so we do not just plant and plant and plant with no real success. Like most of the district's underperforming contractors, this probably needs to be rebid.
12F.
The contest proposed by residents for fairy gardens in the park. I think the fairy garden idea is lovely, but it was put out to the public before it was even approved by this board. David put it out last meeting at DRC, this problem, and was laughed at by the board, which is very unprofessional. His concerns were valid. It is not acceptable to make decisions in closed meetings, as was indicated on Monday, and after the fact, make the approval. That is not the way a properly functioning board operates, and certainly does not fall within the bounds of the Texas open meeting laws for Texas.
13F.
Funding for an interaction with neighborhood associations and homeowners associations. I see in the financials for tonight that this board will be voting on whether to disperse $1,400 of district funds to the Andersonville West Neighborhood Association. First, I would like to point out that the resolution granting those funds lies in the idea that they are to help with the operation of an architectural control committee, which has not been proven to be even operating legally, and to assist with deed enforcement, which the Andersonville West Neighborhood Association is clearly not doing, since all the information they allow to remain on their website, amwna.net, is not accurate. Dispersing money under this resolution is fraudulent. Furthermore, the money that is being dispersed is for legal fees. I believe them to be connected to having a lawyer look into whether the ACC for Andersonville West is legal. If that is the case, then I think constituents have a right to know the outcome of that review.
13H.
Restrictive covenant management between the district and Sage Management. Bill Flickinger has looked into the contract for Sage Management to see what parts of their contract they are actually fulfilling and has redlined the rest. An open records request to see this redlined copy is currently being challenged at the Attorney General's office. The district is unwilling to let constituents see whether a vendor is actually fulfilling their contract. This is highly questionable in my opinion. Also, Linda Fobbs submitted a detailed concern letter regarding the bidding and contractual oversight of Sage Management. She has yet to receive a response.
18A.
Answers to prior questions from residents. This agenda item was apparently added to boost the appearance of transparency. No questions that I am asking are being answered here. Two that I know are currently waiting to be answered are: 1, did the district bid the sewer televising project? It appears to be over threshold. And 2, who attended the steak and lobster dinner at Frida's?
19.
Video recording of board meetings by the district. Kudos to the board for setting up a system to record public meetings. My question is, why does it take so long to get the meetings up onto the webpage? The amount of time between when the meetings occur and when the videos are posted is extravagantly long. The length of time to post them greatly diminishes their usefulness in creating an educated constituency.
20.
Amended resolution adopting rules regarding the public's right to address the Board of Directors. There has been a documentable push by this district to suppress any information, even public information, that goes against decades of status quo that has dulled the democratic spirit of this district. I sincerely hope that this amended resolution doesn't push transparency and constituent input even farther out of reach.
21A.
A report from the Information Management Committee and the district website. The district website continues to be severely flawed in its presentation of information, wrongly leading constituents to believe things like that the Andersonville West ACC is valid, that building permits are actually required by Cedar Park, leading constituents to outdated and inaccurate websites. Updates are occurring, but only those that present information that the board wants to be pushed forward. Everything else has been left to languish.
25C.
Procedures for digitalizing district records. I requested, and now have in my possession, all of the historical MUD district minutes dating back to 1985. I will be posting them on the community forum for WTCMUD1 in the next couple of days for anyone interested in reading them.
28.
In this agenda item last night, Board Board Director Jana Norton reported that she did not attend a September 8th DRC meeting at Frida's. I
Correct.
tried to present the public documents that indicated she did, but was ejected before I could lay out what was in those public documents. I would like to read those documents now. The document from Chris reads as follows. DRC committee meeting at Frida's. Chris, Jana, Jimmy, and Diana for $133.15. And the receipt is as follows. Frida's Seafood Grill. Guests for Caesar salad, $6, bowl of gumbo, $10, Starbucks regular coffee, $9.75, Well Gin and Tonic, $5.50, New York strip rare with a baked potato, $31, an iceberg wedge salad, $7, lobster roll, $23, cheesecake, $7, seafood platter, $29. The subtotal was $128. I do see here that the gin and tonic was subtracted, but all of the other food was charged to the district for that meeting.
Okay.
Chris Rocca reported that he mistakenly wrote that she was in
hold on.
attendance.
Hold on. Didn't we have a minute?
The minute. That was a minute, but she's going on to the next one, isn't she?
Isn't that number 30, right?
No, she's continuing, I'm saying.
I'm just pretty much saying I wanted the people to know that Jana did say that she wasn't there.
Okay, so
I wanted that to be clear in the
Now, were you going
record.
on to the next one because your minute?
No,
lapsed?
I'm not. That was
That was your
that
minute.
was the end of that one to
Okay.
clarify that you did say that you weren't there, and then obviously to put forward the question who was there then.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that he took the gin and tonic off, and he did revise his invoice tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
Did he revise who was actually at the meeting? Because that was never clear. I mean, there were 4 people at the meeting. Was it ever revised to
I thought we
reflect?
discussed that on Monday.
No, I was ejected.
It says DRC committee meeting, and I
was
on the DRC
ejected
committee.
before that was ever actually answered.
tell you what, we're going to talk about that on another agenda item. So we're
Great.
going to.
I'm
let's go to
just really
30.
interested to know what 4 people actually attended. And the last one, 30, declaring Sunchase Playscape equipment as surplus property. Authorizations to sell Sunchase Playscape equipment. In general, this agenda item has never been publicly discussed. Why this equipment is being taken out, what's going to be put in its place. This has never been discussed in an open meeting. Nobody in our neighborhood knows why this is happening, and tonight there's going to be a vote on it of whether it's going to happen or not. So it feels questionable to me that it hasn't been spoken about in a public meeting.
Okay, have you been and looked at that play area?
I have.
Have you had your kids slide on the slide and?
I haven't. But I have looked at the playground area.
Okay, you might want to do
I mean,
that.
it's just never been discussed in a public meeting, so I just wondered why it was being removed.
We've talked about it a few times.
Yeah, last couple of meetings. it's been
Really?
discussed,
What
yeah.
meeting did you discuss it in? About why it was being removed?
This is not a time for interaction.
Yeah.
Okay, we're
I'm just saying it's
Move
never
on.
been really discussed.
Okay, so, Beth is here. Beth Jones, who is the president of the Anderson Mill West Neighborhood Association. Okay, you're gonna wait. We're gonna wait till later for you to talk. Is Megan here yet?
I don't think she's coming.
She is.
Okay, okay. So I'm going to close the public comment section, and we are now going to start the general board meeting. Okay. Right now we're going to start with presentations by neighborhood associations and homeowners associations. Did you want to do that right now, or wait, John? Wait. Yeah. Okay, we'll do that. We'll wait for billions and invoices. Okay, let's start with number 3. Report from the district engineer.
We have handed out the infrastructure meeting notes from the meeting on the last Friday. Again, I'll kind of defer to Christie to kind of kick this off with the first items on our list.
Yes, so the water accountability, we're at 96.9%, so that's the second month in a row that we've been on target. So it seems like the AstroPass repairs that were made to that master meter have done their job.
Christie,
No.
I think it's important to note that as a result, we suspect that there was never a loss of water.
Correct.
It has always been an error in metering,
It was
correct?
a mechanical.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. On the meter pilot program, so our district meter replacement program, we expect that our inventory that was approved in October, I believe, it should be here early March. So we'll start up the replacement of those, any meter over 2 million gallons will be replaced with the
Now,
AMIs.
Again, to clarify, this refers to the program we have every year of replacing meters that age out.
It's
And-
your,
And instead of replacing them with the meters we have been using, now we're replacing them with the new Badger meters.
that is correct.
Thank you.
And I believe this may be an agenda item later on as far as the contract review with the Badger, so I'll just leave.
Christie, what we're gonna try to schedule an infrastructure committee meeting.
Okay.
Maybe next week is earlier meeting than the usual to talk about that.
Okay.
So that would be Art and Lewis and your, somebody from your office, probably you, Herb.
Very good.
All right.
And then the MS4 permit, the annual report is due in March, so we'll be working on that. All the items are up to date. And review of the valve and fire hydrants, we started that work on the 12th of February, so that is underway. And televising of the wastewater system, that is also underway. We're expecting that it'll take 6 to 8 weeks to complete the entire community, and then probably another 3 to 4 weeks after that to get the actual results.
Now, as part of doing this, these televising, are there crews actually down in the lines?
Yes.
Okay, that explains why somebody says, I think there's homeless people living down there because I see their lights, I see their
know.
flashlights.
That's the camera.
Okay.
That's them televising, so there's not people in the lines, there's equipment in the lines.
The closest that people get to it is inserting the camera
Okay,
from a manhole.
okay.
They're not actually going down.
Thank goodness.
Just also for your information, Infomark, this is these two attachments is what is posted on the district's website that Infomark put together to inform the residents of what's happening with both of those projects out there. I wanted y'all to be sure to see
These
those.
two here?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure y'all saw those.
We tried to put pictures on there so people would recognize the equipment and what they're doing, so that is all underway.
All right, so then we'll roll on to the next page, which will be the items that we covered on our end. The Sunchase Park drainage channel maintenance, the final cleanup of that, they've done the bulk, probably 95% of that work, and then the rain set in, so they have not been able to finish up that final grading and reseeding up underneath there on that side channel. The expectation when putting all this information together is they were going to get a break in the weather, so they've submitted an invoice that actually combined with the footbridge, which we'll talk about next. And we'll just cover that invoice with this other one as we get to them both. There is an action associated with that. With the footbridge is in. The grading, final cleanup grading has been started. There's some electrical issues that between Westar and Infomark, they're just working together to get that wrapped up so that we can get those backlights and the parks to work. With that, again, we anticipated initially they were going to be done with all the cleanup, and again, the weather impacted everything. They did submit the invoice for that work, and that invoice was in the amount of $45,700, which was the approved amount with no increase on that bridge. The invoice also includes, they combined the grading cost of $3,000, which was that approved amount. When we discussed this on Friday, it appeared that the work could possibly be done by tonight, and then we got more rain in, and then things just didn't dry up correctly. The committee basically has two options: either pull the invoices or go ahead and recommend contingent upon release by our office saying that those projects are complete.
So is this gonna include an installation of a DG trail, so,
That'll be my next item.
okay, got it, okay, okay.
I kinda wanted to break them down
Okay,
so we don't get
okay.
lost in conversation.
Okay, So the infrastructure committee would like to move that the payment of the invoice be authorized tonight, subject to the approval of the engineer that the work has been completed. And the reason we want to do that is that it's likely to be completed relatively quickly. That way he won't have to wait an entire month to get approval later.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's after they finish the work.
After they finish the work,
Yeah.
Infomark, how that happens is Infomark, what involves, Infomark holds the check, and then that check is not released until they hear from our office in writing that
Okay,
everything's.
yeah, Lewis is right, we don't wanna wait a month, but then that's the only thing that we can hang over their head to make sure. it doesn't-
Absolutely.
Okay,
And if more rain sets in, it may be a month.
okay,
I mean,
okay.
And I moved and Art seconded.
Okay, so we have any more discussion?
Well,
Okay.
make sure the amount is, what's, the amount is 48?
45.
45.7.
yeah, the total check would be 48,700. That's,
Oh,
Because
of
that's
3,000.
Yeah.
per the, and I also included the attachment that includes both of those items on the second sheet, so you can see where that amount is.
Okay, so
The approved amount to do the bridge itself was $45,750. And then the channel, which is item 4 on their invoice, is $3,000.
Right,
That's how they submitted it, so it's like, well, they're tied together, so.
okay. Oh, lucky you.
So we've got a Gray Engineer's letter dated February 13th that details that.
Right.
So that would be part of the motion would be in support of that letter.
You recommended, I second.
Okay, so any more discussion? All in favor? Okay.
All righty. During the wrapping up that footbridge, it came to light and the infrastructure requested that we get with the contractor to see about extending that DG trail, tying the bridge to the existing trail in the back. Westar came back with a proposal of $3,800, which what that includes is all the excavation, which is pretty substantial to get the 5%, keep it within the TOS requirements, and then come back with 4 inches of base material compacted, as well as 4 inches of compacted DG. And then any additional spoils will either be used on site or hauled off. That price was $3,800, and I believe the infrastructure was in the position to recommend that, but that's where we're at with that one.
Do we need to take action on that?
Yes, sir.
And this would be so people can like walk smoothly from over the bridge and through the other side by the picnic
You'd
table.
have a continuous loop by putting in this piece of trail.
So at the back side of the park, the bridge lands in a straight line with the existing DG trail.
Right,
back by-
right,
So this would
right.
extend that DG trail.
Oh, okay.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and we need to do this, otherwise
Yes.
you're not gonna be able to get off the one side of the bridge.
So we want a motion to authorize the $3,800.
Correct.
That's what we discussed, so I so moved.
Okay.
And Art seconds.
Okay, now, one of the things that is available is what Herb said was either we haul the spoils off or we use them on site.
If you go to the back of the park now, what they've done is that they accumulated a lot of soil from digging that slope.
Okay, so
And they
it's over,
spread it out.
Okay.
But it would be perfect to do one of those mounds like we did in the front of the park.
Right.
Yeah, it looks
We
good.
put those
Yeah.
mounds and put some wonderful
yeah.
planting
Yeah.
on.
Cause you can plant on both sides of it.
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
And so Herb, as I understand, you feel that we can reasonably ask him to do that under the contract,
Yes, yes.
To
No.
make,
to create the
We'll
mound.
I'll talk to them about creating a landscape berm at the back,
okay,
and that's just
okay.
a wash.
See, the
Okay.
other possibility would be, we tell him to haul it off.
Well, he's gonna
So
wanna
he's
charge.
gonna prefer to
Want
put the
some?
mound back.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's what I want to then.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But we need to make sure the mounds are not too close to the front, so like when we have, any of our like, sunscapes come in to, do something that they don't have to like go over a mound.
We're talking about a mound in the way back.
Yeah, or we can have another mound when the playscape goes away, if it goes away.
Well, actually, it's already in.
Yeah, the soil is, you know, in the very back.
Yeah,
there,
in the
there's
back.
There's a picnic bench back there, way, way, way back.
Do you want it back there by the
Yes.
picnic bench?
That's
Yes.
where all the soil is, and so.
That's where it is right
and
now.
we have just a big flat area there, so.
Oh.
What occurred to me was that we could put a mound back there that would be similar but smaller.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you
so,
can add some flowers and kind
Oh,
of
good.
beautify that little area up a little bit.
Okay.
I didn't realize it was so far back there.
Oh yeah,
It's
no,
all the way in the
it's
back.
yeah,
All the
it's
way
all
in
the
the
way
back.
back.
Because
yeah.
when we were there visiting, you know, when the bridge was barely not even complete.
Yeah.
There was no excess dirt yet.
No, there was no exit.
No, it really shows up
They hadn't done
now.
the slope yet.
Right.
Yeah,
That's where the soil came from, their digging of this gradual slope.
yeah.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
So
We
we
need to vote.
Yeah,
You got
so-
a first and a second.
So what we want to do is, we didn't do a motion yet, did we?
You did a motion and a second,
In a
but you didn't take the
second to do
vote.
it.
Okay. Okay. So, any more discussion? All in favor? Okay.
Okay. On Friday, Joey from our office met with the Travis County at Castlewood Pond. I'm pleased and almost ready to do a dance.
Yeah.
Those permits are
Really?
done. After all that
Golf
time,
clap.
We should go up there.
lots and lots of,
Make a meeting.
So there's nothing. There's nothing open.
we have no permits. They have, the gentleman in Robert, forgot his last name right off the bat, but he has, the gentleman over all the permits has sent notice to his employees, and we were copied on that. Everything satisfied, closed the permits for Blazing Star and Castlewood. So that's both permits that you had open. So those, whenever they close them, but we got documentation that says they're done. They're
Okay.
not coming back on anything at this
Okay.
point. There were some maintenance items that were noted, and we'll be getting with Infomark, relaying that information on. Nothing critical, it's just stuff that we need to, typical maintenance that we need to take care of. We also met last week with the architect and the contractor out at the Phase 3 pond improvements for the deck construction. That work is now complete. We have the concurrence letters from the structural engineer and the concurrence letters from the architect. And based on that, there's no other comments. That project's complete as well. With that, we have the final invoice from Westar in the amount of $14,200. That's also included in the handout that I gave you.
Okay. The Infrastructure Committee will recommend the board approve the final payment to Westar Construction in the amount of $14,200.
I second the motion.
Okay. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay.
Awesome.
How long has
And
that been? How long has this project been going? 2
Well,
years?
That one, yeah, for about a year and a half.
Okay.
About a
But
year
of
and a
that
half.
year and a half, about 1 year of it, almost a year of it has been delays.
Was Travis County.
Travis County delays.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
Okay. Woo-hoo.
across the hump.
It's a
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
There we go. Items 5 and 6, we covered those underneath the Infomark descriptions. And then item 7 is the streetlight mapping update. We talked about that last month. Infomark will be getting their crew, getting their field personnel to run through, get the data points on the streetlights. And then once we receive that information from them, we'll update that and get that in CAD in the right locations and make sure of all of that, as well as the mailboxes on that. The Phase 5 sidewalk improvements, maintenance, we had, at the infrastructure, we kind of came together, got a little description and request to be placed on the website for residents to be able to have input for sidewalks that are unlevel or displaced, so that we can be notified to make sure we catch those. A lot of this time, at this time, the intent is, this is the 5th phase, so we're starting on the far side of Lakeline Oaks and moving towards Hunter's Glen. And as in the past, what we've done is we've taken the budgeted amount, we've identified the areas, and we see how far we can go with that scope. If we get outside, if we get to the end of where we're identified right now, and there's still funds available, and we've got other areas even if it's spot places, then we'll try to go take care of all of those items at that time. Right now, we're just in the discovery process, so we haven't really identified all the locations to be taken care of.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
You know, in so much the district is almost 34 years old, and we have in many places the original cedar expansion joints in the sidewalk. Is there ever an instance when those are replaced or done anything about it?
Not typically, if they, which I have not seen this occur very often out here, is when those, sometimes they will peel up. I see it, I know I've had it
That's
in my.
rare, yeah.
I've had it in my driveway more than
Right, right,
anything
right.
else. But when they start peeling up, generally though, you just remove those and then the dirt fills the gap in. and
So what
you're
was the
done.
purpose of them?
During the initial settling
You
and
had to
curing
have
of the
it.
concrete, you've
Okay.
got to have that in there.
So right now it's just aesthetics, the way it
That's-
looks.
That's absolutely
'Cause
all it
I
is
looked at
this
somebody
point.
that replaced theirs, man, they look great, but, you know, if it doesn't do
They
anything.
replaced them with wood, Chris?
Yeah, cedar.
Wow, that's
You're
really
not
necessary.
really.
Oh,
you're
I
not-
know, but,
You're not accomplishing anything
Okay.
once
well,
that concrete's
that was the
fully cured.
question that someone asked me, and I said, well, I know there's some that have been without them for a long time and nothing's happened, so.
Some people have been using flexible grout, a plastic
Yeah,
grout too.
I've seen that, and it doesn't look as nice, but I hear it's more effective, I mean.
You
because it
can, you
shrinks
can
and-
do it, but again, it's really not accomplishing anything
Okay,
once
that
that
was the
concrete
question
is
I
all
asked.
cured out. The
And
only,
what, after a week?
No, more than
gen-
that.
generally, you need a good 21, 28 days
Yeah,
to get
Okay,
concrete to
okay,
fully
okay.
cure. And that's all weather dependent as well, but that's
Okay.
pretty much the rule.
Right, okay.
So as we go through that, if again, residents, board, if y'all see anything,
Okay.
feel free to pass that on to the infrastructure or myself specifically. Kevin, I know I found one email of yours,
Yeah,
something to do with Terra Blanca, I don't remember exactly.
yeah, it was really bad. It was really bad.
We'll get a look at it specifically, and then, again, any other notifications, we'll take those in consideration.
There's a really bad one on Little Elm, but it's just because of the
The
roots. Yeah, it's real bad.
So far, we've been real fortunate. When we first started this, the intuition is that we're gonna run into a lot of tree issues where we have to bridge over them or get an arborist involved. So far, I mean, we really haven't run into too many of those. I'd say maybe 3 or 4 through this whole program.
Well, in so much as oaks usually have the roots on the top, you know, I'm real surprised.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
You know?
yeah. If you would, Jana, either take a picture or
Okay.
give me a little bit better description of Little Elm, where along there.
Okay.
And we'll make sure, and we should be getting that as we go from Lakeline anyway, going that direction.
But you still have that one on sweet gum and mulberry, or maybe it's butternut.
I think it's butternut,
Yeah, that's a real bad one.
yeah. So, that's the intent, that's how we're gonna work it like we've done all the other previous phases. We pick an area first and then try to sweep through from that. So outside of that, I know at the meeting, the infrastructure was going to review, and I think they've all reviewed and responded to invoicing, so unless you've got any questions,
Okay.
that takes care of my report.
Okay, so 3A, do we have anything about pond and park improvements that didn't get covered? 3B, streetlight maintenance, repair, and replacement. Anything with that? Okay. 3C, review of projects for possible bond issue.
Still underway with the water valve and wastewater televising program.
Okay. Agenda item 4, report from the district landscape contractor, and I don't think he's here. Do we have anything that we wanted to talk about? Oh,
The tree, well, that's part, but the
well,
trees.
yeah,
We
we'll
can
talk about it
that.
during parks.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's gonna try to come next month, but his nights are
Pretty bad,
Yeah.
okay. Agenda item 5, report on security patrols. Do the constables have anything that they wanted to report? Okay. Agenda item 6, report from the district manager. Who wants to go first? Okay.
What we'll do is we'll start off, we're gonna skip over page 7. There's a handout that replaces page 7 in your packet.
So they're
They come in
big.
different parts from different companies. Yeah, there's the arm, there's the pole. So what we're recommending is that we actually put one in inventory. We'll store it over at the lift station. So we would recommend approval just to, and then we'll just replace the inventory as it comes along. Because the church has been waiting for 6 months for that street light to be replaced. This way we can get on it right away.
Okay.
So we have a recommendation to approve inventory street light from M&C Electric for $2,500.
Okay.
Do you want a separate motion on each one? Do you want to take them as a package? Which-
No, let's do separate. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I move that we authorize $2,500 to be paid to M&C Electric to supply the extra pole replacement inventory parts.
And I'll second that.
Okay, so that means then that every time we replace a pole, you're still gonna come back and ask.
Come back and
Yeah.
just to get an inventory.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think it's a great idea to have one on hand
Oh,
because
yeah,
it did
I
take
agree.
forever for that one on, not Kristen Lane, but Cranberry Court to get put in.
Where are we gonna store them again?
Probably at the Hatch lift station. That'd be the best place. It's out of the way.
They're in multiple pieces, right? Okay, yeah, so,
So they can't steal them, can they?
They'd have to
Okay.
have some heavy equipment to stay.
I don't know why anybody would want to, but you know, can.
So the second item.
okay, wait a minute, we had a second, let's go ahead and vote on that. Any more discussion? All in favor? Okay.
All right, the second item you can scratch out because the last item actually takes its place.
Okay.
So we'll look at the
That was exactly my
Yeah.
question.
The Funabounds, we have a quote here for $1,114 to replace these two cans out here in front.
Okay, so was
The
there,
park committee reviewed
We
those
reviewed the
quotes.
quote.
right,
of the
is
part.
there a picture or anything
Did we
like-
choose a color too?
It's the same color unless you want it changed. So
Green.
green.
I don't know. Do you want a
How
different
bad are
color?
they?
These ones out here are rusted.
They're
and
rusted.
They're the original cans that were here.
Mm-hmm.
in the
They're
park.
dangerous.
Really?
Rusted.
On the bottom and then on the sides.
Yeah, they're in pretty bad
Don't
shape.
those things have plastic bags?
Yeah, they have
inside?
coated. No, on the outside it has like
Oh, on the
yeah,
out.
like a honeycomb type of thing.
Let's get a different color.
Okay, well, what color?
Blue.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, okay, yeah, so the Parks Committee is recommending, the Funabounds,
Talk about this.
bid for $1,114 to replace the trash cans at Lake Line Oaks.
There's two of them,
Yes,
so it's cans.
yeah, cans, yeah.
And I'll second that.
Okay. Okay. Any more discussion? I think that's about it though. I mean, we've done an awful lot of trash can replacement at both parks now, haven't we?
These are
Okay.
the last
Yeah.
ones.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor? Okay.
All right, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the last one. So, the Parks Committee reviewed this a little bit. There's the electrical box at the AMW near the bathrooms. The quick disconnect / area of, it's a 200 amperage disconnect, was ripped off. So clearly vandalized. Somebody just ripped it off. It is a safety hazard because if we need to shut down power for any reason in that area, we can't.
Where is this?
It's I believe it's on the back of the bathroom or
It's
on the
attached to
side.
the wall.
It's attached to the wall, and it's the breaker box.
The part.
There's a disconnect on the side of it that was ripped off.
What puzzles me is, how can you remove that disconnect without also disconnecting the electricity?
Because the way that it works is this: if the switch is not switched, it's not going to disconnect.
Oh, I see.
So that's the whole point: is
Yeah.
it shuts off the power going to, not from to the building.
Is that flush to the building?
No.
No,
Oh.
it's sitting outside. Do we have a picture of it?
I think I have a
I think we
picture
do,
of
yeah.
email somewhere.
And we don't have
Yeah.
cameras or, we don't have
She sent us one
cameras,
email.
do we?
Is
We're
it-
working on it.
Okay.
It's
We're
not a
thinking
disconnect
about it.
switch, it's a selector switch, the select.
So this
for
is what it
emergency
looks
power.
I know,
like.
but the thing is we don't have
Electricity.
we have electricity, we don't have Wi-Fi
Network.
there.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
So this is where it was attached.
We looked at it like 3 years
You
ago.
have to replace the
get
whole
one there.
box?
No, just the disconnect that attaches to the box.
It's an awful lot.
So,
So,
The thing is that it requires the amps, the fuses, and everything that goes into the box, along with a crane truck to put it in, and 3 guys, I believe, is what we quoted for it as well.
Well, is
It's
it gonna be in the
electrical
same
hazard.
place? Is it gonna be in a different
Insurance.
place so some people can't get to it?
It would be in the same place as of now because it's the best place for the access points because they're already there.
Okay.
But if y'all want to discuss a different way to
How
secure
much is it gonna
it,
cost?
the quote we have is not to exceed 7,500. We don't necessarily know that we'll reach that amount.
And our insurance is what?
2,000, I believe, is
So
your
we'll get
deductible.
something?
Yeah, we're
We'll
gonna
get
file a
something.
claim.
Can
Is that the
just
norm?
asking out here, can it go up higher a little bit?
Yeah, we can definitely see if our electricians can make that work. We're not electricians, so obviously we can't necessarily say.
Yeah,
but
that
we
was
can
my
definitely
question is like,
Pursue something.
Protect it
Yeah,
somehow?
protect
Yeah.
it more.
I don't know, can you put a cage around it?
That's what I was gonna suggest.
We can ask.
Well, I think you also need to have quick access to it. So like the fire, I mean, if
Right.
somebody needed to
Right.
disconnect the
There's
power, they
no
need
way.
to
Well,
have
here's
quick
the
access.
thing. How could you vandal proof it? I mean, is there anything we could do?
We'll look at it and
We'll
see.
look and
We'll
see
see what we
what-
can do.
Our
So, but I still don't understand why it's $7,500 because.
It sounds like-
You get a crane truck in there, there's,
Well, I don't
There's
understand,
15
but
right
I
there.
don't understand what the crane is like. All I'm seeing is the box. Okay, I guess I'm not understanding
Yeah, how big
what
is this unit?
what got broken.
Well, I mean, when you have electrician and you're pulling new wires, it's 220
right, but when you're saying a crane, you mean like a pickup truck with.
with
an
just a
electric
hoist on
yes,
it.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
an
right,
electrical
right.
hoist, correct.
Right.
With a cherry picker on it.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Okay. You're not talking about
Not-
moving it.
No.
Okay.
A 500-pound
No.
box, no, it's
Okay.
more just a hoist to be able
Okay.
to lift it.
Okay. Well, okay.
And we'll submit it for insurance claims, so hopefully we'll get something back and it'll cover a portion of it.
Yeah.
Oh, so we are gonna submit a claim. then?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
she said they're only gonna get about $2,500.
Yeah, with the deductible.
Now would be a time to look at the network and Wi-Fi again, because when was the last time we looked at it?
2 years ago.
Yeah, maybe it's gotten cheaper and,
Well, okay.
It's something to do with a line into the ground.
We have to. We'd have to.
get a tap line.
They'd have to bury, dig
Yeah.
another line. And, okay, so when we were doing this 4 years ago, Time Warner said, I want $7,000.
Oh.
And we all went,
Just for that.
Yeah, I know.
and we said, okay. And we said, okay,
It happened.
we'll do it.
Yeah.
And then when we
Donnie
went to go
Rogers
sign it, they go, we changed our mind, we want 10. And that's when we said,
No, I
never
think it
mind.
was like 6. It was pretty low, and then all of a sudden they almost doubled it.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Well, technology's changed. Maybe,
Yeah.
Let me do
Satellite's
this.
got something.
Let me put this on for the Parks Committee to
Okay.
review at the next meeting. We have another vendor that puts in security cameras at another park, several
That's a good
parks that
idea.
and we can get with them besides the vendor that we've used before.
Okay.
And get a couple of proposals and just see, there's new technology now
Yeah.
that may be more
Well, yeah, and the
cost
issue,
beneficial.
the issue with getting, the issue was there wasn't enough there isn't enough bandwidth with the Wi-Fi
Wi-Fi.
that we're
We'll see.
using now. There's enough bandwidth in order to run the security for the doors at the
Tennis courts.
tennis courts, but there isn't enough security to run cameras.
We'll put
I
that
mean,
on
enough
as a,
Wi-Fi to
I
run
think
cameras.
you do now though, because they put in that
Yeah.
whole new system this past year,
Well-
right there.
we'll
Hey,
put that on Parks Committee to review.
What do you think about a reward for information leading to the, something like that?
We
'Cause
talk about
kids
it every
talk
time.
Kids talk about stuff like this, and
All the time,
if you give them like $200, maybe someone will come forward and,
say, I saw my friend
I
doing
need
it.
$200 more than I need your friendship, because they do talk about it,
Well, that's how they found the kids at Naughton.
I know, that's what I'm
Something
saying.
this big was probably not kids. They would have to be able to handle heavy stuff.
I don't know.
I think when you put that in, then maybe you think about adding a camera.
Well, I just think cameras, just anything that's going to discourage them, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it would be nice to have a camera. I mean, we have looked at it in the past. We have the cameras here, and out in the front. It would be nice to have
I
one
agree.
at Anderson West.
I agree, totally agree.
We'll put the Wi-Fi and have it for guests as well.
I was going to say,
That was part
that
of
would be
it.
another,
Definitely.
And a
Another-
tornado siren.
yeah.
No.
You guys know how I feel about that. I always wanted it, so.
I can hear it at the
So
limited district.
we need
Okay.
a motion for this.
Okay, well, this is what I guess my question is, are you saying, Christie, you wanted to put something on the Parks Committee, but not this.
No,
The
for
cameras.
the camera, the security.
Okay, so,
I'll have that as an agenda item for the Parks Committee to
Okay.
review. So what we're asking is not to exceed 7,500 to get this disconnect replaced.
okay. I'll make that motion that the Parks Committee recommends that we accept the $7,500 bid
Not to exceed.
not to exceed $7,500 to fix the electrical vandalism in the Anderson Mill West Park.
And I'll second it, but just as long as you guys discuss if it can be higher, maybe a Kate, maybe so it's not as easy to get to somehow.
Yeah. Cage, yeah, that's right, cage, yeah.
Is there some kind of, like a barrier or a cage we can put around it?
Well, we'll look at options of what we can do.
Quick access, so if there's an emergency and somebody gets electrocuted, you can
Right, that's true.
you can block it.
You can't make it too difficult.
Yeah.
Defeats the purpose of it.
Safety net.
Yeah.
You could do a clip though, you can have that little bar on there and it just flips open, I don't think it would benefit as much.
Okay, all in favor?
Just think of.
Woo-hoo! Okay. Keep the agenda informed about what's going on with the insurance.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so on the regular activities since the last board meeting, we've already talked about item 1 on the distribution and billing system. Collection system, we talked about the televising, but I did want to bring to the board's attention that we did have a customer call in for a sewer backup at Piney Creek. It was on their side. The plumber didn't televise the area, but at the next infrastructure committee, it's been a while since we've reviewed the policy and the procedure on customer backups and how we go about those. So I'd like to bring that up at the next.
We jumped through a lot of
Infrastructure,
hoops
yes.
to come up with a policy, and there were all sorts of issues that were addressed in the policy. Could you come, when we deal with it, could you come in with some recommendations based on what you're doing elsewhere and what you?
Yes, and I think with Mackenzie being on board and Lee, it would be good to just do a refresher of that SOP.
Yeah.
All right. And then Mackenzie's going to give you an update on item number 3, the parks and trails.
So we kind of briefly touched on the light poles and mail kiosk survey. It is complete. We did have your maintenance tech here that is dedicated to WTC finish that up about the beginning of this week or late last week. So now we're taking his pages of data that he's compiled for longitude and latitudes for everything, and we're putting it in a spreadsheet to get it over to Herb and Joey so they can put that into a CAD and get us some new map plats for that.
And
then
what is it about the mail kiosks survey? What is that about? I don't remember talking about that.
it's just included in the lights. It's
Gotcha.
to map where all of our mail kiosks
Oh, okay,
are.
gotcha.
Just
Same
get
with the light poles.
location information.
Yeah, just locations.
Okay, I was wondering if maybe they were gonna say how bad they are.
No. And then, so Sunscapes did get back with me. The tree planting that the Parks Committee approved for the tin cane trees to the different parks, they've already started on that. Now, he did say weather permitting, they were supposed to be finished with it by last week. I'm assuming they probably did not, considering of the rain and
Not yet.
different forces. So he said he would give me an update when that is done, but that did start on 2/14. And then others to talk about. So we agreed to not replace the snail with a spindle chair. We've decided to go back to a snail due to cost, and the requirement to replace the snail at AMW would be that we would have to completely remove the PIP, which is the pour in place, the soft squishy stuff, and there's no way for them to color match it. They don't do that anymore. It would be a complete re-pour, which is a ridiculous amount of money to do, and we just didn't feel like it was very viable to the cost factor, so we're going to try to pursue a different spring loader. And I did ask if we could possibly get one that could hold more weight,
Yes.
just in case.
Because we think that was the reason
that
we
it broke
had-
in the first place, because the spring was just replaced last year, which is what snapped. So it didn't have much wear and tear before it
What are they
snapped.
putting on it?
Well, I think it's like big kids.
Yeah. So
I think
I think
we're
it's a
doing
few
one that
big
can
kids
hopefully
standing
hold
on it.
more weight to it, and it won't require them to mess with the PIP in place that's already there. It'll just be an attachment to the attachment that's already on the ground.
Yeah.
And then one update I did want to give you guys that just happened today. The punching bag at AMW that has been down for several weeks now was repaired and put back up today. Your maintenance tech did that. The golf tee replacement was installed, and I do want to note, we got that one pro bono basically because he had an extra that was not the exact size, it was slightly too long, so we just cut it about 2 inches, and it fits perfectly.
Nice.
So that's been replaced, and he hand delivered it to the office here when it did come. So that was really sweet of him. And then, so
Sunscapes would have paid for it anyway.
Sunscapes has since given us another update from this update we have here. So the trees at AMW, I think you were on that email.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
We've determined that it is a very old issue of why they're oranging. It's not from Sunscapes, it's not from our previous people we had doing our landscaping. It is an issue that has been ongoing for a very long time, and the reason they were able to make that determination was because on certain trees, the acorns didn't even fully form, which would have happened months ago or years ago, and there's other certain factors that have been indicative of something that happened a long time ago. And they've met with, I think, 3 different arborists at this point to figure out what is going on. They don't think it's spreading. They think it's just an old issue. They do think that several of the trees can be saved by cutting the limbs that are affected. And there are some that obviously cannot be saved. But they are going to go through and basically let us know what will and what won't be there and what limbs are going to be taken off and when they're going to go about doing that.
Okay.
So I'll try to get an update from Scott sometime soon. I know he's been pretty hardcore busy this week.
And he also said it could have been vandalism.
At one point in time, he did say that, but I think the most recent arborist has slightly gone against that and just thinking that it's something very old because they all look the same.
And it's okay, it's
And
something
they
that was
realized-
happening at the same time.
And it's not disease, it's not wilt. They were able to rule all of that out by testing the soil.
Well, that's what he told me yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he gave you a new update because the email we got was, what, 2 days ago?
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, it's unfortunate.
Nonetheless,
It
it's
could have
been
been
figured out.
previous drought, or what was it? He called it compaction of the soil causing harm, or a disgruntled citizen. Kind of like that one.
Okay, and
Not
then
really.
we met and discussed that the irrigation for the trees at Valente is unfortunately not possible where the water lines run. So you have one that runs down AMW, just under the sidewalk, but that is not district lined, and so we can't have access to that. And then the other one runs in front of the houses. So again, there's no way to tie
You're
into
talking
it.
about the trees in the Anderson Mill Pond?
No,
No,
we're
no,
talking about
no,
the trees in the
Valente.
Valente Hills little pocket park.
Oh, in the pocket
Yeah, in the
park.
pocket park.
Because we were gonna,
It's
we were,
very isolated there.
yes, because we were going, because all of that construction on the other side of the park that sort of with the barrier is gone, so there's a great big commercial, something going in. We were going to put some plantings in to try to create another visual barrier, and there's no way to.
Like a tree line or something?
Unfortunately.
Yeah,
We
and
are
starting.
going to, in the trees that they are planting right now, they're putting up, I believe, what they're called vitex along that wall
right,
to,
and those are extremely hardy.
yes,
Extremely
they,
drought hardy.
they will cover a large area too as they grow. So,
Yeah.
they do spread out.
Did we ever go talk about the trees instead of the sunshade?
That's what we're doing. We're doing the trees instead of things.
Yep,
That's
we're
right.
starting trees.
We are working with Sunscapes to repair that broken wall at London Lane. It looks like maybe a kid went up and just started pulling bricks out that they could get a hold of. It's all in one section, but they are going to let us know what they've determined on that.
Okay.
And then we are collecting a proposal from them for the crushed granite at the Garden of the Wild Things. He did go out and inspect it, but he has yet to get me a formal proposal, so I didn't want to give any numbers yet. And then they will be treating what they call Velcro plant, that weird vine that we don't like growing.
Oh yes.
Is
that what
has
it's
a
called?
name called a Velcro plant.
Is that that real
The
bright
sticky-
green stuff?
yes.
sticky
It's
stuff.
everywhere.
Yes.
I know.
Everywhere.
They're going to treat for it to hopefully not come back anytime soon, and if it does, they'll continue to treat it to make sure it goes away.
That's
So-
a perfect name for it.
Yep.
It sticks all
What
over
they
to you.
use.
Okay. All over your legs and everything else.
Yep, and then they will also be trimming the vines that are encroaching on the canopy at
Okay.
the fence line.
At the fence line, yeah.
Yep, and then we also approved the trash cans already, so we're good there. I did want to note, Jana, we do have Owl House guy here tomorrow morning. He didn't give me a time. He said he
Okay.
would come in sometime before 11. So
Okay, well,
to
I'll
look
be-
at getting some owl houses.
I'll be here around 11, but I'll come earlier.
Okay,
Just
if you
call
want
me.
to,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're gonna look at getting some outhouses put in at both AMW and Sunchase, and I asked them to bring us a model tomorrow
Good.
to show us.
Good.
So
Okay.
we'll see what we can do with that.
I'll update you on that.
Okay, oh, that sounds exciting. Okay.
All right, so the other items 4 and 5, so we've got the information committee and the management committee. And I know that we've got a meeting scheduled tomorrow.
Which committee?
Records Modernization Committee, which is
Yep.
Christie, that's a new committee we formed, and these items that you're mentioning have been moved to that committee.
perfect. So both 4 and 5 will be discussed tomorrow at that committee.
What time is the meeting?
11 tomorrow.
11 o'clock
Okay.
here.
Who's on the committee?
Chris and Jana.
We're, okay.
Okay, perfect. And then, so just on the other items, the water heater was replaced here and the AC
Was
has
repaired.
been repaired.
Okay.
So all is good. So with that, we can move on to the packets on page 8. We'll go through the billing summary.
Okay?
Page 8. Well, I guess, yeah, 8.
Yeah, you're
There's
right.
2 pages.
Well, it says 8 or 3.
The one in the center, the page 8. So on connections, no changes there. Consumption for the month of January, bill cycle was 11,606 million gallons. And that equates on a residential average consumption for your residents, around 5,477 gallons they were billed of water. So total receivables for the billing cycle in January is 208,871.
When does the water metering end?
The averaging?
Yeah, the
winter
averaging. Yeah.
It's usually February, end of February billing cycle.
Okay, okay.
So it just depends. It's December, January, February. So
Okay, so soon.
Yes.
So the read that's happening in February, that should be the cutoff.
Don't bother till then.
That's
I
right.
don't need the water with all the rain on it.
Yeah.
So then following on page 9 is just your 12-month revenue graph
Me either.
by category. So it's pretty much in line, nothing really to point out there. And then your 12-month accounts receivable and collection report. You'll notice there that we sent out 96 delinquent letters. We hung 57 delinquent tags, and we had 11 disconnects for non-payments.
So what's the status of the 11 disconnects? Have they been turned back on, Lee?
We have 3 outstanding. One, the resident is actually, I believe, in hospice care, and his son has the property, but doesn't always check bills and hasn't provided us with contact information.
Okay.
The other 2 are still off and on. We haven't checked them today.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
So I mean, you check the meters to make sure they haven't turned the meters back on. Okay.
And then page 11, we've already discussed. That's our water accountability report. And page 12, we've already approved that. That's the inventory for the light pole. So that would conclude our report.
Okay. Okay. So I guess that's you're next. Yeah.
All right, we'll start on page 3. Tax collections through January at 90.26% collected. Just a little bit under what last year was. In January, 92%, but this year's been running just a little bit behind prior years. Page 4 is your profit and loss for the month of January. Income for the month budgeted $514,000. Your actual was $555,000. So over for the month and still over for the fiscal year thus far. And then over to page 5, your total expenses that were budgeted $405,000. Your actual was $295,000. So under on expenses for the month and for the fiscal year also. And then if you go to page 7, This is your cap tracking sheet. So for the month of December, we applied a little over 2,000 to your cap. So far you've had 3,300 applied to your cap. But we're just getting started.
Yeah, we're just getting started, that's right.
So you go to page 11 is your cash balance report.
Thank you.
The only transfer you have, you don't have monthly, is gonna be your bond payment, and there'll be backup for that when we get to your wires. And then page 12 is your investment activity report. Page 13 is your cash balance trend. 14 is your operating forecast. Estimated, based on your budget through the end of the fiscal year, a little over 2 million. Right now, you're looking at 1.8 million. A lot of that has to do with the capital projects that we are paying this month. If you go to page 15, is your check register, and you have a supplement. The first thing I want to point out in your check register is check 3897 to arbitrage compliance.
In the supplement or the basic one?
Well, the supplement will focus on, since that's the most updated.
Can you repeat that? Check number?
Check 3897 to arbitrage compliance. The amount of $6,645. This is for your 3 series of bonds and the review that they did. And then check 3933 to Anderson Mill for reimbursement of attorney fees.
Okay, so we're gonna have to do,
Yeah, this is the beautification, so there in your stack, you've got backup for that, the amount of $1,401.
here we go, yeah, okay, so.
Art, did you have a couple questions on that one?
Well, I just, have we set a precedent for that before?
Yeah, we've done it.
Yes. You want to stand up, Beth? This is Beth Jones. She's the president of the Anderson Mill West Neighborhood Association. And I just wanted to say, this is not the first attorney's fee reimbursement from the beautification. We had one probably about a year ago, and then we had one, as I've been reading historical records from the neighborhood association. We've had them, multiple times over the history of the Anderson Mill West Neighborhood
Do
Association.
you have those dates?
Not off the top of my head. So I think maybe, am I correct that is what's sort of throwing you is what is the amount? Is that what's concerning? Because the bill itself was very detailed as to what was going on.
Yeah, I saw
That's what I
that,
was- yeah.
and it is detailed. I just, I didn't remember we've had a precedent for paying legal fees, through the beautification fund.
We've never, ever, in the whole history, have we ever paid out what we've paid right now. We've way over. That's not something that we've ever done before. So sadly, it's taken away from every activity that we've ever had in Anderson Mill. We won't be able to have any because there is no funds, because whoever is asking for all this billing invoices and they want to see everything, it's actually taking away from the whole community. There is, I mean, there
You mean
is
the
no,
members of that organization.
But the
and
question.
members of our whole neighborhood.
Well,
We
it's-
can't have, like,
they-
the 4th of July, I don't know how we're gonna do that anymore. We used to have wonderful parties and used to be able to have, hot dogs and chips and stuff for the
Still have it.
kids. No, we can't, you gotta pay for it.
I'll bring the hot dogs.
Well, you got a whole bunch.
You didn't address the question he asked. The
So-
question he asked, have we done this before? Have we
No.
paid for legal expenses before? And we have reimbursed legal
Yes.
expenses before.
Yes.
She just said it, many.
What you were commenting on was how this extraordinary amount of
Right.
money we've had to spend exceeds what we would spend in 1 year for all of the community activities.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So is there any more questions about this? Because, it was this, if I remember correctly, this whole series of emails was about the attack on the ACC and what the response for the Anderson Northwest Neighborhood Association ACC.
It's for the detailed invoices
Yeah.
that's been asked for, and the billing invoices for the committee, that they want more
Identifies all the
information.
conference calls and we're
Well,
going
Yeah.
through-
I always felt comfortable, as one of our responsibilities is to maintain the property values of the district for our bondholders and for our residents. And the attacks that we have been weathering have done nothing but lower the property values. I've talked to numerous realtors that have said this. So for us to spend money on that, I think we're just basically doing our job.
Okay. Okay.
And I also have heard from actual realtors that people have come to the MUD and they don't want to move here
Right.
because of many issues.
Because of the attacks on the neighborhood?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then we
I
don't,
thought most people don't know that we're in MUDs when they come, they just pipe and they find out.
And then
Okay.
they do some research and they find about all this stuff going on.
Okay, so I need somebody to, are you comfortable, Art, reading?
I'm comfortable.
Okay, okay.
So we don't need a motion. Is it
No, you
necessary?
gotta read that thing, you gotta do that
I
thing.
hereby move that the board find the enforcement of deed restrictions within the Anderson Northwest neighborhood is necessary to sustain taxable property values in the district, that the board find that the distribution from the Anderson Northwest Neighborhood Association share in the district beautification fund in the amount of $1,401 to that association will promote functioning of the association and will thereby facilitate enforcement of deed restrictions in the Anderson Northwest neighborhood because that association assists the district by providing information on deed restriction violations, and that the board authorize the disbursement of $1,401 to that association for attorney fees from the district beautification fund as detailed in the attached receipt and/or written account of how the funds were spent. It's spent and sent to the association to the district management of each expenditure. And further, provided that upon request, the association and/or its ACC shall assign to the district any rights that the association and/or ACC may have to obtain reimbursement of such funds from the other party.
Okay. Somebody wanna second that?
I'll second it.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor? Okay, so now we need an approval of the entire check register? Okay, so what's,
You want me to move you on?
yeah, go ahead, do that.
Okay, I move that we approve $384,421.91, identified in the supplement.
And I'll second that.
Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor? Okay.
All right, if you go back to the report,
What page?
we will continue on page 21. As I mentioned in the cash report, you're making a bond payment, your 3/1 bond payment, March 1. You recall you have 2 a year. This payment is simply just interest, so it's the smaller of the two. The September payment is usually principal and interest, and that's your larger one.
Yeah.
So it's $24,165. And then behind that, page 22 is your aggregated outstanding debt. And I highlighted the payment that you're making this month, and then you can see the future years behind that. And then continued on 23 through 25 shows each individual series that is in that aggregated number.
Okay, hold on, let me look at this. So we've got 2 series that are gonna be done in 21. Okay. It's like I'm counting payments like my mortgage. How many do I have left? Okay.
And then if you want to go to page 26, is your open records cost.
Okay, I wanted to ask, I was looking at this and I wanted to ask a question. So, the indirect costs, we've just started basically in September, is that what?
You have the indirect cost in
last year's number and in this year's number. Of course, it's cumulative for this year. Last year,
Okay, so you're not breaking it out on a monthly basis as it's occurring?
no.
Okay, what you're doing is you just got
I just-
what it was for the fiscal year? Okay.
That's all I have on here right now.
Okay,
It's just an aggregated number there.
okay, okay.
And Lisa, this is just our cost, not legal costs, right? Or is it?
This is, well, the open records expense line item.
That's
They're
the
not
le-
the indirect cost, that's your legal fees, anything that you write a check for, basically. And the
Right.
indirect is the time that is spent on
Time
Infomark's side.
Infomark staff spends doing open records rather than doing the scope that's in the contract.
Right. And the reason that Louis and I asked that, listen, we need to understand what this is because when we negotiated the contract 2 years ago, we were not anticipating the volume of open records requests and the number of hours that were going to be dedicated to this one task. So when the contract comes up for renewal, they're going to ask for an increase, specifically understanding that the expectation is that this is going
Will
to.
that include the part-time personnel? And
That's one of the discussions we'll be meeting about tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. So the reason we're keeping track of it is because we're going to need to know that number the next time the contract comes up for review. Okay. Okay.
All right, then on page 27 is beginning of your not to exceed tracking reports. I've included this month because I had time to kind of put them together. So you haven't seen it for a few months since we started the new fiscal year. But we'll use these to fine tune in the committees. I know there's some updated stuff on here that probably needs to be added, especially under the Parks Beautification that I've missed over the last month.
Okay.
And then, very last page, 36, is your quarterly investment report from October to December. And in that time period, your interest earned was a little over 11,000.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh, here we
on
go.
the quarterly investment report, we'll need a separate motion to approve it.
Yeah, and I have to sign this. Do we have a separate sheet of paper?
Yeah,
Same with the
it
checks.
should
It's
be
in that
the
folder.
very last one in that blue folder, Louis.
Right here. I
Oh,
haven't.
here.
I haven't
Okay.
done anything with it yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up.
Okay. So why are we the motion? I'm not following.
So we have to make a quarterly investment report, and the investment officer has to sign it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
a legal requirement.
Okay, it's just okay because it's like we don't do that every month. What's going on?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
It's every quarter, and your auditors require a separation for that.
Okay.
So do we need a motion for this? Okay, so I'll move the approval of the investment report, which, with the approval of the board, I will sign it as the investment officer.
I'll second.
Okay. So any discussion? Any more discussion? All in favor?
I would like to point out that we earned $11,171.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Because we used to spend more money for the advisor than we got on income. Now we get no, it's because we changed how we pay for advice.
Yeah. Okay. So what's next? Okay. So is that done? So do we have any? Are we done with the financial report? Okay. Okay. So that's number 6. Okay.
I'll just get it later.
Agenda item 7, legal action against persons who disrupt board meetings. Do we have anything to discuss? Okay. Agenda item 8, district records retention program, identify records for disposal subsequent to expiration, et cetera, et cetera.
That's one of our standing items.
Uh-huh.
And that has not come up for a while. If the board wants to, we could remove that one.
Okay.
Just let me know.
Might as well. You wanna remove it?
Just so long
Been at it.
Infomark understands it,
Well, if
we
the-
have a policy and
Yeah.
schedule and,
It's understood.
okay,
It came up in the past. There were several instances where we had to talk about it.
right.
And so having a standing item allows us to
To
talk about it.
but we
or
don't
take
need to
action.
talk about it.
This one, probably we could take off unless we need
Okay.
it.
So are you talking about all of 8 or just 8A?
Yeah, well, 8.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine. Okay. Okay, number 9, prior and pending open records requests, costs incurred by the district. Is this where you wanted to, was this where we're gonna talk about the report?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, there's been a suggestion that we have a report on pending open records requests. So I've prepared a report that's public. I'm gonna pass it out to everybody. And it's a suggestion as to a format we might want to include in the manager's report we would get to in advance. You can stick it in there. Let's see.
Let's just stick that back in.
So let me briefly explain what it is, and then we can get comments as to whether this will be useful. This is a listing of the pending open records requests, which means they're not complete yet. So we have 11 of these. From January 1, 2018 to present, we've had about 62 open records requests.
From what date?
January 1, 2018
January 1,
to present, we've had about 62, I think the number's correct, 62 open record requests, of which 11 are still outstanding and are on this report.
wow, okay.
And so what this report does is give you kind of a quick rundown of what the requests are. In the comments, you can kind of get a little sense of what the requests say.
Okay.
And then where we're at as far as response dates and so forth. Only one of these involves a lawsuit, which is number 11. And you can see in the comments why the lawsuit was filed. So there's no response due on that right now because that's with the court. And then there, on this particular list, under AG, when you see a yes, that means we've requested an AG opinion.
Okay.
And so on number 8, we've requested an AG opinion. And under response due, it says NA because we're waiting to hear from the AG.
Okay.
And then if it says no under AG opinion, then, you know, we haven't filed anything with the AG. We're just
Okay.
proceeding to fulfill the request.
Okay, so is number 2, is that from that same company out of Florida that asked last year for the same thing? Is that?
Yeah,
what-
well,
okay.
yeah, let me explain the coding.
Yeah.
Every request that comes in, we assign a code because there's so many of them, it's really hard to identify them. And then when we track the cost, we use this code.
Okay.
So ORR just means open record request.
Okay.
Then we have the district name. And then we have the year,
Yeah, I see it.
okay? And then ST is the requester,
Okay.
okay? And then we have the date of the request and the date it was received. The reason we have 2 is it's not always the same.
Okay.
For example, if they send an email on Saturday, it's really not received officially till Monday. So OTB means, on number 2, that's open the books, that's the requester,
Okay.
which is some outfit, I think they might be nonprofit out of Florida. And last year it came to Chris, because I had his name as a prior president. It came to Chris, and he thought for sure it was
Phishing.
spam.
Yeah.
And it came back to us. We checked it out. It was legitimate. And so you got it this time. It came through. Looked like spam again.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
was legitimate, and we've told them, hey, send it to the email for open records request. Don't send it like you did. That's for employee records. The only employees we have are the constables, and so that information was provided before.
Okay.
Doesn't involve their addresses or anything like that. So we'll be providing that information with him for Mark's help.
Okay. Okay, so,
Could you explain on the comments for item 10, how do I read that? For example, it says once. Does that mean that?
That really means the requester has requested.
Okay,
okay.
We're trying to summarize the items requested. And so,
okay. And then the next line, it says, 11/1/17 to present.
right, present date.
And number 2 is what they're requesting.
No, well, they want, no, item 1, ACC requests from
Fine.
HG2 residents 11/1/17 to present.
And then the
Item
second
2.
is a second request.
Yeah, item 2, ACC requests from AMW residents 11/1 to 17 to present. Number 3, Mud or Sage communications on requests. 4, inspect board and Sage emails, text, re-architectural control, and then 5, documents showing who's on ACC, current approval process, and whether the submission is mandatory.
So the question I had, does this apply to the entire MUD district?
Just these.
Because they mentioned Hunter's Glen 2 here, but it looks like the rest of it is probably focused on Anderson Mill West, but it's not clear.
Well, when you get down to line 4 and it's referring to architectural control, it's general, it's district-wide. But when they specify specific forms from certain residents, it's not district-wide.
For example, item 5 on there says documentation showing who's on ACC and current approval process. Is that for every ACC in the
No,
MUD
that's
district?
just Anderson Mill West.
Okay.
So those are things that will be answered?
They're going to be part of whatever the open records request response is, yes. Okay, so hold on. Let me,
So that went to the AG?
yeah, I guess it did. Okay, so what was the clarification that you're asking for on the AG on that one then?
Well, it's not a clarification.
You sent it to
Some
the
of
AG?
I don't have a copy of the request
Okay.
with me today, but it basically, some of the requests affect or include documents that could be subject to various exemptions, one of which could be attorney-client privilege, one of which could be other exemptions.
Okay,
And so in this case, the request, as I recall, is pretty broad as far as any text regarding architectural control. So emails and text that deal with architectural control, that's a pretty broad subject.
okay,
So that could include attorney-client communications.
okay.
So could those be broken down individually and submitted individually so they can get knocked out, and the ones that need to go to the AG go to the AG?
And that's part of the process, yes.
Okay, so let me read whatever, okay.
So-
One-
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just looking at water meter wants,
Which one?
I'm looking at number 5, wants residential properties water meter inventory to include meter number, date installed, age of meter, make, model, if more than one type installed, number of gallons passed through each since installation.
Wow,
Yeah, I have a question about that.
that's huge.
So it's extraordinary, and what my concern is this going to identify the resident that has that water meter? Water meter number such and such is associated with such and such a resident? Or is it just a list of water meters?
It's not going to be associated with any particular customer name or address.
Okay, so that means that the data will not show the actual location of that
Correct.
water meter?
Correct. And they didn't request the actual location.
They did not locate the request, okay.
I think this is
Is it
it's not an issue now because we don't have, we haven't installed the smart meters all over the district, but this is something that's going to have to be looked at as we move into the Internet of Things, as part of, what kind of things do we have to reveal? Because if you start knowing the serial number of a smart water meter, somebody's going to want, that becomes a hackable thing, isn't it?
And that's my concern, that the ability to identify, associate water meter Y with resident A
Yes,
could suggest the possibility of intrusion into personal data
yes,
for
yes.
residents.
That would be a bad
Yeah.
security
And then the
question,
other
wouldn't
thing I'm wondering about is the open records request relates to actual records. If we're in a situation where the open records request relates to data which is scattered throughout the system, are we obligated to compile that data, even though it's not in one record?
Well, the general rule is if the information exists, we have to provide it. We don't necessarily have to provide it in a certain format. We can provide it in the format that it's available. So this data we're working with Infomark on, I don't know how it's assembled right now, but for example, if it required a lot of manipulation of digital data and accumulation, then that we would give them a cost estimate to do that.
Mm-hmm.
If the information doesn't exist, we don't have to create the information.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't have to go write a custom
If
report.
if something is not actually recorded already, we don't have to create that information, record it, create a document. But if the information,
question out of all this?
Sure, go ahead.
So if this, like, you can see where all this is coming from, but if this keeps happening, how are we ever gonna pay for all this?
It just comes out of our taxes.
Raise taxes.
Yeah, it just comes out of our taxes. Okay. Okay, so the number 8 is a copy of the red line contract. So the question I have is, since it's a work in progress, what would be the precedent that we'd have to turn something over that's a work in progress? I don't understand that.
well, part of the request to the Attorney General is to make a determination as to this particular document.
Okay,
And this particular document is an attorney committee communication,
okay,
and that's why we're protecting it.
okay, okay.
Well, because we don't even see the red line for a while. So
No.
she wants to see the red line or
Before
they want to see the red
before the
line
board sees it.
before we even see it.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And again, this chart is not intended to, this chart is not intended to give you complete information on everything, how we've looked at it and how we process it, just to give you a sense of what's still out there and what we're working on.
Okay.
And to a certain extent, if we have to, if it becomes legal advice and detailed legal advice, we would do that in executive session.
Right.
But what we're looking for is some tools so the entire board and Infomark and the public can send, what are we still working on? Because it
Okay.
comes up every meeting, you ask me, what are we working on, I tell you, but this gives you a little more detail.
Right, so what I suggest we do is that you add to the report those requests that you received and have processed, so that we know, so every month we see a report that tells us, okay, these are the outstanding things, but these are the requests that we received and we processed since the last board meeting. And hopefully those numbers are gonna start to be smaller and smaller. That's what I'm hoping. Okay. Okay,
Pass this over to Lisa.
has everything been,
Yes.
yeah, okay. Well, okay, so I guess this is the appropriate time to talk about this, which is the first open record request on the report, which had to do with the board meeting, or the DRC subcommittee meeting at Frida's. And what I wanted to do is sort of pivot into, and Bill, I need to tell me if I'm at the wrong agenda item here. But what I wanted to do was pivot to the whole process of the open records request and the response as it relates to what happened with this particular response And it's my understanding that the response, the open records request that is involved in this whole Frida restaurant was the result of Linda Fobb asking to do an inspection of records. And so she did an inspection of records, and no, what I was going to say is she came and she was doing an inspection of records, but she became very hostile and very belligerent and very intimidating against Lee, our employee. And Lee did what most people will do when you got somebody who's in your face. She gave her something and to get her out of her face. And the result was that Linda Fobb walked away with something that was an incomplete record, but she wasn't supposed to walk away with anything. She was only supposed to visually inspect. And if she had received the entire record, she would have seen the other part of the receipt where Chris had written on the top of it, meeting with Catherine and Sage for DRC. And then it would have been very obvious when she saw the second record that said Jana.
Yeah, I had it wrong.
Yes, it's like, okay. So, as a result of this situation, I instructed Infomark. I said, one, I want the door to your office to be closed now. I want chairs in the front atrium. I want people to understand that that space is not public space and you are not allowed in there unless you are invited into the space. I would like to propose that in the future, if residents or whoever is doing an open records request and they are visually inspecting records because they do not want to pay for copies, that they have to go to the Flickinger office and they have to physically do that review at the attorney's office. I do not want that happening at this space anymore.
Or at the Infomark space.
Or I don't want it happening at the Infomark space because I want this not to happen ever again.
When you say this, you're referring to the abuse that Lee suffered, and
Yeah.
and that was not the only time.
No. So I don't want a situation occurring where somebody feels that they can barge into that office and then walk away with copies instead of, and bully somebody into doing something that they're not supposed to do. So we solve this problem by taking them out of this space, and we're going to send them to the Flickinger, and they can go sit and look at them at a conference in a conference room there.
Bill, do we have any procedural rules that cover this kind of interaction? Should we just have a motion of the board, or what exists out there for examining documents?
Well, we don't have a board procedure that we've adopted, and we could do that. We could adopt reasonable procedures for producing records. We get requests sometimes for inspection. Actually, the inspection of records is a more rare request. Usually we get requests for digital copies because physical copies cost money. They know they have to pay for that. There was one prior incident, well, not incident, but request that for inspection that we did perform at my office because the records were located there. We didn't want to relocate them to this office. So at this point, if the board directs us to process them for any request for inspection, to process it at my office, then we'll obviously comply with that directive. I would point out that we have this local office.
Right?
And, it was intended to be convenient.
Exactly. It was intended to be convenient, but you know what? You got one bad apple who's ruining it for everybody. So
There's also a few, because some people come in to pay their water bill, and they're frustrated, and they yell at the office. But that's a different story.
right.
If we can have Bill's office a conference room in his office be a place where they can sit and look at the records. I think that's a great idea.
Is that gonna cost us money to have his time and space?
I have not asked, but I'm sure it will.
So what I suggest is that one of the problems when you have a board resolution, it's documented in the minutes, and it disappears in the mists of time because the minutes are not before us at all times. So to avoid that problem, we have procedures, and those procedures have a longer life and a longer presence than just motion. So
Okay.
I think that we ought to have a resolution. I agree with your proposal. I think we ought to resolve to do that, but I think we also ought to resolve to have some procedures written up
Okay.
that would document this process so that it would be clear to everybody, and we could post that where people could see what they have to do.
Well, isn't there like a code of conduct or some kind of
Well,
protocol?
I was just gonna ask, rather than recreate the wheel, you know, what have other MUDs done like this?
I doubt
Regarding
that.
open records requests?
Yeah.
So many of them have very few, that they don't really need to deal with that.
I think because they post them.
I doubt that.
No, they don't.
Others just don't have the
Well-
intensity we have here.
Actually, we do have a start of procedures that, it's been a couple months, I think we adopted, where we designated an email.
Right.
Where they sent the records to.
Right.
So we could build upon that document and bring it back next time for approval.
Yeah, what I was gonna suggest was that the Open Records Committee, which is, you and I, that we come up with, policies and procedures as it relates to,
So we can ask Bill to take the existing rule and add something that would cover this request and bring it to the committee, and then we can present it to the board next time.
Well, I think it's a great idea, but I think there's just two issues. One, yes, we need policies and procedures, but first of all, you gotta decide, how are you gonna develop those? What's your basis for the policies and procedures that you're gonna develop?
Well, I think there's a protocol type. I mean, if you're gonna ask for records, and you're gonna come to this building, you know, there has to be some type of protocol or procedure, if you call it, just code of conduct and say, look, if they're with customers, they have to wait. If somebody comes in to pay a bill,
What's happening?
You should make an appointment.
What's
too.
happening when the open records request is going on? Does Lee have to stop doing her work?
Yes.
She's gotta stop doing her work and sit with her.
And the
I mean,
particular
somebody
instance
becomes
with
harassed.
Linda most recently, she doesn't have to sit with her. Oh, no.
But, so there's no supervision.
Well, I mean, she sits in here with the files and is allowed to inspect them.
I know, but does, she's not supervising it to make sure that the files don't disappear?
Well, that's part of the issue, and, this is an office space. We're
Right.
conducting business here.
Right, that's
So
the
we
point
have
I'm trying to make.
We have customers coming in and out, so we can't always be watching what's happening with the documents. It could be that Lee is in here taking care of a customer, and before she comes out, and the records are gone.
Well,
And that has
So,
happened.
yes,
That
it has happened when
The
Lee
records
was not
have been
here.
taken.
Look, I've been an auditor for 32 years, and one of the things that we always did was give people a receipt. And the receipt is for records, is twofold. Number one, when I'm given the records, we list, this is what you're given, and we go through, here's this, here's this, here's this, here's this. Then when I give them back, at the end of them, I'm done with them, you say, okay, I'm giving them back, you need to sign off on the receipt, everything was returned as that I've given you, okay, here's this, here's this. I mean, that's how it's done.
So, you
could be a
describe a
possibility.
situation where a person is examining records, because we're talking about people looking at originals.
Right,
So
right.
if they walk off with them, we're losing our originals.
Well, we're losing our originals, and in a lot of my clients' cases, they're losing the thing they need to defend themselves or answer the request, and the person says, well, I couldn't find a copy of that invoice in there. And unless you know what you gave them and what you got back, there's no way, I mean, other than call them a liar, there's no way that you can prove.
In the digital age, couldn't they scan it and?
The thing is, what we know is that regardless of,
That's a good.
regardless of
That's
what
something we're
system we
thinking about.
use, regardless of what system we use, what we know is that Lee has been suffering abuse, and she is not we should not expect her to have to put up with that kind of stuff.
Can we look at an alternative of, rather than paying bills, office space and time and stuff? Have somebody hired here. I mean, we need to do it.
So
Hire
what
somebody
you're
to lay us
saying
on.
is you just want to make arrangements for somebody else to.
Yeah, somebody to lay us on to take
Yeah,
us to another
this should
room.
it should be kind of low pay. I mean, they can check out it's like a librarian. You know, it is. You're asking for something, they would have to coordinate what they're given, but then the person can, we're giving you this, you sign off on it, unless you want to sit there the whole time and make sure nothing goes in their briefcase or anything like that.
It's not gonna prevent pictures being taken either.
Now, is there a rule against pictures being taken?
I don't think so, but
No, they
If
can,
you've
they
got
can
two-
take
That's what I
pictures
thought.
of
if
record.
you've got 200 pieces of paper, are you gonna document every single piece of
Well,
paper?
how are you going to say
I mean, it's
that when
something
it
to
comes up
consider.
missing, that you gave it to them in the first place, and that they gave it back to you?
Just like a library, Chris, have some
Chris,
kind of
the-
checkup.
I
Yes.
mean, it can't be done here, I still
Chris,
go back to that, it shouldn't be done here.
The only realistic way to preserve the district records is to have someone supervise the inspection.
I agree.
Okay, so I think what we need to do is we need to come up with a policy and procedure where it has to,
That's
that
the
all.
point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, let's have the committee come back, because
Okay.
I think we also have to talk to Infomark, because if we have a
Of
person
course
here,
we do.
that would have to be an Infomark.
Of course we do.
And that's gonna affect that contract.
Well, we're meeting tomorrow at 11 o'clock, and I'm sure this is gonna be one of the items we're gonna discuss.
This is an item for the Open Records Committee.
Yeah.
This will be the policies and procedures of how we're going to conduct the review. of
I
records.
understand, but as David brought up, monetization could also mean with a digital copy of something, we don't have to give them the only copy of something that we've got.
Chris, if they request inspection, we have to produce them for inspection.
Yeah.
If they request a digital copy, we can give them a digital copy.
But we have had them ask for inspection of the actual originals. They say, I don't wanna see a copy.
In some instances, the only document we're gonna have to provide is a digital
Does
copy.
it have, that instance happen here in our district?
Yes.
So, okay.
I got it for the committee.
Okay, well, that's good. Okay, okay, what time is it? 7:50. I am going to jump to, hold on. Where is it? I was gonna jump to something.
The HOA.
No, I was gonna jump, let me jump to 12F and G. And I want to jump to 12F, which is a contest proposed for the Fairy Gardens. And then I want to talk about G at the same time, because we wanted to coordinate the the celebration of opening our bridge. Megan, did you want to say anything? Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm just here tonight to ask. Thank you. To ask the board's permission to have residents temporarily install fairy gardens at Sunchase Park.
I'm going to stop you because we approved it on Monday.
You did? Oh,
We did. We approved
fantastic.
it on Monday, but the reason I wanted to call you up there is I wanted to find out how far we moved. Do you have a date so that we can then, figure out, what the timeline is, and then, start working on our bridge opening ceremony at the same time and taking pictures and the whole bit.
Can I ask a stupid question?
Sure.
What's a fairy garden?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you
Art,
missed
I
that.
brought pictures.
Sorry.
And Megan, it's
Okay,
kind
that
of
makes sense.
esoteric, but since it's tangible personal property, it's really not installation. Because you're really not, it's nothing permanent.
That's
So-
right.
It's temporary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
temporary,
it's really not
yes.
an install. I
Show
look
it
at
to
it as an
Chris.
installation, as an improvement to realty or something.
You need to make one for your granddaughter. Your granddaughter needs to make one. They're so cute. Look at the water.
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure that we were abiding by the district's policy that
All right.
we need to ask permission before we do anything.
Right. So what was your timeline?
So the timeline is, so we have people already signed up, and they signed up understanding that they couldn't actually put anything on the ground until we had your approval. So we have 9 people who are currently signed up, and so they know that starting tomorrow, if they get word from me, that they can potentially start
Okay,
putting
so this
things
is
in.
moving a whole lot faster than I thought it was.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So we identified the plots in the park, and then the people who've already signed up have their plot assignments already, so that they could go see their space and their unique little spot. And then, and so then installation can start, as of tomorrow. And then currently we have it set up so that all installation needs to be in by March 6th.
Okay, hold on, let me look at the calendars here. Okay, okay.
Which is a Friday?
Is that enough time for
Yeah.
the residents to find out, and get word of it?
It's been advertised extensively already.
Yeah. Okay, so March
But I'll-
7th.
Approval of the board?
Yeah, yes.
Because it said that you cannot install anything until the board approves it, and that it's pending approval of the board. So,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so right now we're on the 19th, so you're looking at judging like in 3 Saturdays. That's what we're looking at.
Right.
It has to be in the afternoon, that's all I'm gonna tell you.
Not too late though. I have to work
Well-
that afternoon.
Yeah, and we don't have judges yet. I
Okay.
can't be a judge because I know whose plot belongs to who.
What about
So,
noon?
we'd have to find judges who don't know that.
I have to work at 3.
Yeah, you wanna see? I know, there's cute. Look at that one.
Okay.
You'll have to grab hot dogs.
Oh, you're gonna be a judge? Okay,
know.
you got
That's
one,
so
okay, Mackenzie said she would be a judge.
Okay, cool.
Be a judge.
Okay, Beth, you wanna be a judge?
Give me
I
a
think
judge.
Bill could be a judge.
Bill looks like a fairy garden man right there.
Okay, so,
Like I'm not answering.
okay, so what you're, so infrastructure committee, did we have any idea when, when the DG trail was gonna be
If
finished?
the rain stops, it should be done within a week of the rain.
Okay. Okay, so by the 7th, then the bridge itself should be complete.
Ready for dedication?
Yeah,
If
ready.
If the rain cooperates.
Yeah. So, okay, would you be averse to having a larger, bridge opening ceremony in conjunction with your fairy garden judging?
No, I think
Okay.
that's fantastic. I think
Okay.
that would, the whole point is to celebrate the park, to bring people to the park, to have people walk through the park and enjoy what a beautiful, unique space it is. And so if there is an event associated with that, to bring people there and to see the gardens and to see the awesome bridge and all of that, then that's even better.
Okay. Okay.
Well, we'll figure out the time later. We'll just
Okay, so it's gonna be, so the judging's gonna be on the 7th. I guess what I was thinking of.
They could judge earlier and.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, you can judge earlier, that's fine,
Well,
But
no,
we're
we can't
looking.
judge.
Well, we'll figure it out. And then we'll figure out what kind of event because we're gonna wanna coordinate with Hunter's Glen and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so that's what I needed to know, that the big day is the 7th. And that, okay.
Anytime after the 6th, because that's when they're, unless it rains, I guess, a whole lot, and then we can adjust, but
It won't. It
it's
won't.
done.
Okay,
Okay.
so Valena Hills has been notified, Hunter's Glen, I don't know about Lake Lane Oaks.
So it has gone on next door. It's been on the Friends of Anderson Mill West page. It's been on all the various group pages. I have not, but I don't think I sent an individual email to Lakeline Oaks. So I can do that.
Okay.
And I don't know if I think Julie Potts knows.
Yeah.
So Hunter's Glen knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we do have people signed up from like all different neighborhoods right
that's
now.
fabulous.
Yeah,
That is
so
really
we have
fabulous.
representation.
Okay.
And then we're gonna do like snacks and stuff, correct?
Yeah, I think we should bring a Weber and do hot dogs. What do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
We'll figure that out in the Parks Committee. meeting. How about
But
that?
don't we have to get something approved here if we wanna use money towards that, you know, like
Oh,
a couple hundred
okay.
bucks?
Okay,
For all
okay.
neighborhoods?
Okay. Yes, okay, let's talk about that. I'm gonna jump to
G?
12G, the welcome celebration for the new, for the new bridge. So, the Parks Committee wants to, have a formal bridge opening event, literally, and, we, want people to have their pictures taken on the bridge, because we've decided that we want to, sort of publicize this and market it in our community as a family picture destination, because it's gonna be something
place.
that you can have your family standing on, and you can have a picture taken of your family.
And to
So,
let everybody know that it's there and it's ready to walk around the park and just
Right.
to have people meet one another because
Right.
I think the last time we did that was light at the park, and that was a great event. And Valente Hills came, Lakeline Oaks came, and
Yeah.
everybody pitched in.
yes,
You know, Chris made his fancy queso. You know,
Pretty good.
it was a giant party.
yes, it was. So, I think we should dedicate $250.
That sounds great.
Okay, so the park committee would like to recommend that the board designate $250 to fund our bridge dedication event.
You want to make a motion?
Yes, I'm making a motion that we dedicate $250 for snacks or whatever, waters, whatever, as part of our bridge celebration event.
Yes.
Okay,
What budget were we gonna use?
okay.
General fund?
Lisa, what do you?
Parks beautification, you have that 50,000 in there, that's for a lot of generic things that need to be done in the park.
Yeah.
So that would fall under that.
Okay,
Yeah.
One less shrub.
Yeah. Okay, so somebody.
Second, I'll second.
Okay, so any other questions? Oh, I'm just gonna tell you, Lee, you and Jana need to coordinate about, the website and advertising, putting a flyer together, and making sure that all the people get notified. I'm trying to think, it's too late to get anything in a bill, never mind.
When do you want to have this event?
On the 7th, so 3 weeks.
So we'll set up a committee meeting, we'll have this as an agenda item
Yeah.
for the Parks Committee?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
and there was a motion and a second?
Yeah, there's a motion, a second,
Let's do 1 o'clock. You can
Okay,
do it. Let's
okay.
change it.
so,
later.
any more discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay, so, I am going to take a 10-minute break.
Okay. What
Yeah.
I was going to suggest is that we covered the issue, we referred to committee, the
Yeah.
issue of having some basis for getting control of the examination of records.
Yes,
And it's been referred to committee, but in the meantime, you have suggested that people not be allowed into that office, and I want to make sure that Infomark understands
Oh, yeah,
that
they
they're
know.
there to implement that policy.
We've already implemented the policy, so we've closed the bottom half of the door, we keep it locked, and we're actually looking at
Like
a button that we could push to unlock it, so Lee didn't have to get up. So everything is there, the credit card machine, reader. I mean, and I do have to say, it's a shame, because we have a lot of people in this community that enjoy coming in here, sitting down, having a cup of coffee, and that's been taken away from a lot of people in the community.
yeah.
Because now we have to keep it locked, but
So to
we're doing
to
it.
make it clear, in the past, we've had some of these people barging in and using our copy machine to make copies for themselves, and we're not going to allow that.
No.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna declare a 10-minute, do we have coffee?
Yes, I made more.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris.
What?
Why, what are you complaining about coffee? Was it meeting ago?
Ring broke.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement that goes involved in it. But we can do it. Just give them a little bit more space. Pull that one out? Yeah. It's kind of like my couch, my sectional. Are we a little bit more roomy now? There you go. A little bit more elbow space. We don't want to keep you guys in the corner. Now we have a fire hazard over here. We'll move that.
Okay. Okay.
It's being controlled remotely.
Okay. So, we finished at 9. Number 10, do we have anything on the district rate order? Number 11, district rules and regulations, appeals of fines. I don't think there's anything here. Okay. Committees. 12A, park improvements. Do we have anything to talk about that?
I think we already did with the trees that
Right.
are being looked at by the arborist
Right?
and the playscape thingy at the Sunscapes, which is down further.
Okay.
I
So,
think you guys allocated trees. Did you guys get a chance to look at the Cider Ridge tree that was stolen?
Not
We
yet.
talked about it.
weren't we replacing it?
We are,
Yeah, because the sprinkler's already there. You know, the irrigation's already there. You just gotta.
So was that one of the trees that, was that one of the 10?
No, that's a different one.
When we talked about it, you decided not to replace it.
What?
Oh, well, we'll talk about it in the next meeting.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
parlay it for the next one.
Okay, okay. 12B, park and pond rules. I don't think we have anything.
Oh, we do? Oh, hold on. Okay, keep going.
12C,
One item,
Note there is the Sun Chase Playscape. So we're donating that playscape to the Buckholz Elementary School, and they are scheduled, weather permitting, to come and take that this Saturday.
okay,
Okay, we have a separate item,
right.
30 on that,
Which number?
30.
Number 30? Okay, we'll just jump to 30 here. Okay, so what's going on is the playscape in Sunchase is very deteriorated. And it's just not worth doing the maintenance and the upkeep on it. So we would like to declare it as surplus, and then we will come up with a new project, so to speak, for that space and come up with, yeah, in the future, yeah. So
Can we get a description of what equipment the board wants to declare surplus?
okay, does somebody have that? I know that there's a
Well, it's a
slide.
playscape
It's
cluster,
just
it's a slide, a little play area.
That's just like trellis apparatus thing in between all of it as well. Ladder.
Is it listed on an appreciation, on the asset listing anywhere, or is it just grouped? No.
It's
I
all
think
grouped
just
together.
grouped as a playscape altogether.
Yeah.
It's a small playscape item
Yeah,
with a
it's a
slide.
Yeah,
It's just one piece, too,
It's
right?
one piece.
What is it gonna replace with?
The
Well, right
Parks
now-
Committee has not decided yet.
That's true. We have not decided what we're going to put, but because it is we're sort of thinking it's becoming a safety hazard. So that's why we're going to, we want to, what is it called? We want to declare it surplus so that we can get it removed. And it's not going to cost us anything to have it removed, correct?
nope, their football team is coming to remove it.
Okay,
So there's really
No
two,
liability on our part, do they have insurance?
okay. Keep going, Bill.
there's two parts. One is we would have a motion to declare this equipment surplus.
Okay,
And then second, you decide how you're either going to sell or dispose of it, and you authorize that.
okay.
So
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to declare the playscape at Sunchase Park as surplus property.
And
Okay.
I will second that.
Okay, so,
For discussion.
yeah,
I think-
for discussion, yeah.
I think it's important to point out that we're going through a procedure which is required by law. If we want to get rid of it, if we want to sell it or donate
Give
it
it
or whatever,
away, yeah,
we have to go through a series of steps.
right,
And one of those is first to declare it surplus.
right,
And then we can talk about, do we want to sell it, do we want to contribute it, and so on.
right, right.
And
Wouldn't it be
since,
surplus after you buy something and replace it with?
and since I've been on the board, it has, the parks, Infomark Parks area, they've tried to fix things, it's rusted in some spots.
I think there's something we can't even fix anymore, isn't there?
Something on the slide has a little bit of a ledge, but, you know,
Isn't there some bubble or something on it?
I don't know, what is that bubble that she used to talk about?
Yeah, you can't
Hearing,
fix, you
yeah.
can't fix it anymore. You can't replace,
Yeah.
you can't get parts for it anymore.
Too bad, I just turned it on.
So, okay, so,
Well, I had it off.
do you have any
I
questions?
know.
So do you have any questions about, declaring this old playscape as a?
with it?
Well, that's the next thing. That's the next thing. First, we need to declare it surplus. Okay, so that's what I'd like to do. I got a motion, I got a second
To declare it surplus.
to declare it surplus. So all in favor? Okay. Okay, so the second motion is what we have found, somebody to come remove it, and so it's not gonna cost us anything, which was it was always the big issue.
I know, I'm just concerned, I mean, we just declared something surplus because it can't be fixed and it's worthless, and
Well,
why
it's
does
not,
somebody want it?
well, it's not something that we want. For instance, when we did the great big, replaced all the equipment at Anderson Mill West and Lakeline Oaks, we actually sold that, and somebody came in and, I think they gave us like $5,000 or something like that, and took all of the equipment and took it to their RV park, which they were really happy to have.
Yeah, I was surprised about that.
Yeah.
And
So-
the people who want to take it here, is this an institution? Is
It
it
is an elementary school that is very small, and
It's a private school,
it
isn't
is a
it?
private
Oh, it's a
school.
private
I do
school.
believe so.
Yeah, I
Yes.
didn't think it was an LISD school.
No.
Are we liable? I mean, because you were saying it's kind of rat-a-tat.
Yeah, and that's what I'm surprised, is that it can't be fixed, it's dangerous, and they wanna buy it.
Yeah, no, they don't want to buy it. We're just gonna let them have it.
Oh, okay, if they want it, it's their problem.
Yeah, they're not.
I
Yeah,
don't
we're not.
think
There's some things that can be
Yeah.
fixed, but
Okay,
it takes a lot of time.
But just like a baby, car seat and stuff like that, we're not giving them any kind of warranty with this.
No.
Bill, we don't have any problem
And
giving
Chris,
this
I
away.
don't think we said it can't be fixed. I think we said that it's not worth fixing it because it would cost too much.
Yeah.
The dome thing can't be fixed.
Well, to answer Chris's question, I think as part of the motion, we need to be specific that we're providing the equipment as is with no representations whatsoever as to
Okay.
quality and safety.
And I mean, but I mean, we can legally do that, I mean, isn't there some sort of, what's the word I'm thinking of, statutory says you can't give away used playground equipment, I mean, is there anything like that says you can't do that because it's dangerous? You can't do that with car seats, I know you can't give those away.
Well, they came and looked at it, didn't they?
I'm not aware of any
No,
prohibition.
I don't know what they're doing.
We, and like Catherine mentioned in the big project here, the prior manager, Patricia, really felt like she could get some money, and they put it on an auction site, and we actually did get some money out of that. But the big, a lot of these items, the big cost is actually taking them out and hauling them off.
Yes. Yeah.
Disassembling.
at their own expense.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is that if somebody were to ask me, why did we get rid of it, I would say,
Because we felt that we were gonna replace it with something else. That's where we're going.
is
And
it
this,
we didn't like it anymore, it didn't serve its purpose, what?
Very few people use it.
Okay,
It's costly because it often has to get fixed by Infomart.
okay.
There's parts on it that can't be replaced at all, like some kind of
That's what I
bubble thing.
wanna say in our representation to them, the people that take it. That you know that you're gonna have some repairs that are gonna need to be made to this thing. And so it's not free, it's free to you, but you're gonna have to spend some money on it.
yes.
That's,
I think
I
Bill,
wanna make that
I think
part
Bill
of it.
covered that with his.
Okay.
Okay.
So how do I need to adjust my motion?
Do we know how old that equipment is?
That came with the park.
Yeah, it's been there a long time.
So when did we make the park?
God.
Well, no, I think it's more than when we made it's not when we did the beautification.
No, it was when the park was originally, Sunchase Park was put in with
30
the.
years, 20 years?
No, I'm
No,
thinking.
it was after this, when it was whenever Hunter's Glen got finished.
Well, that's old.
I think it's 2000, something like that.
Really, you think it's? I was gonna say 98.
No. You think it was before that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
25 years or so old.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so how do I need to adjust my?
Well, just one more question. So are we gonna start looking at all of these parts and looking at replacing all these equipment? Or
This is
No.
this is one of the last parks.
This is a one-off.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
We've already done Anderson Mill, West Park.
we've done
Right.
Lakeline Oaks.
We also did Hatch Pond.
And we also did, we did the Astor Pass Pond.
And they've looked
park.
at all, and Infomark has looked at all the playscapes. They do it all the time. But they actually went out and looked at each slide and to make sure that everything was safe. That's the only one that's,
So there was a visual inspection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
do we have the name of the school?
Buckles,
Buckle, okay.
Buckles Elementary. Okay, so I need to make a motion that we donate the playscape in Sunchase Park to Buckles Elementary. Oh, Buckholz Elementary, and we warrant nothing.
Yeah, I would think I would add to your, yeah, I would add to my, it's as is,
Okay, we're
no
gonna,
warranties, and that,
it's as is.
that the equipment likely requires repair prior to use.
Okay. And then-
Perfect.
Okay.
In the future, though, I would like to date that and say, okay, how old is our equipment? You know, what's the salvage rate? And all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
The database of what we have.
We should have that.
We should actually have that now, and the reason is because because we have replaced, we have replaced everything now since we became board members. That's not, and which is not that long ago.
Okay.
So, okay, so I propose that we, give the
I think they already
playscape.
have your motion.
Okay, so do we have
Okay.
it? So we're all good? Okay, and you've seconded?
I'll second that.
Okay, so do we have any more? Okay. Okay, wait a minute, do we need to make it has to be removed no later than,
I think that you should be careful with that with weather permitting.
okay,
With the way we've been dealing with weather, I do know that they plan on coming out on Saturday,
you don't
which
wanna-
is
Just say hopefully before the end of
a
the
day
month.
that they're not in school, which
Okay.
is how they've had to plan it out.
okay. The only thing, I'm gonna leave it to you to plan it.
Okay.
I just don't want it interfering with our
The
March
ferry,
7th,
yeah,
yes.
and the bridge. Got it.
Got it, okay. All in favor? Okay, so.
One item on that, Catherine, is I guess I could draw something up, Bill, to where there's a transfer. Does there need to be a document that shows what we just stated here, that it is, we're donating this
Then you
as
come in the middle of the
is?
night, dig it up, and cart it off.
Should there be something, like some
I
kind of
would,
transfer?
if they require something, we can provide a bill of sale,
Okay, I'm good.
but I would wait to see if they require
What if
that.
they mess something up
Okay.
in the process and
Thank you.
we have to pay for it?
Okay, so, number 13, report from the deed restriction committee.
Catherine, could we,
wanna
in
jump
an
back to-
effort to try to clean up our agenda?
Sure.
Some of these items, if we go back to the park subcommittee,
Oh, yeah.
under 12A, do we still require the disc golf
Nope,
issue?
Nope.
Okay, so take off that one. And then we have, and there was a comment earlier on 12D. It's been quite a while. In the past, we were looking at zero skate projects. Lewis probably will remember, maybe Chris, but this has been on there a long time.
Okay.
And I think maybe we had one little demonstration, but it really hasn't come about, even though it's very important to pursue.
okay, so this is, what you're saying is something that's been on the agenda prior to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original idea was that we were gonna use some of those corners, those street corners.
Oh, okay.
Those beds at the street corners to do demonstrations. And that came up back when Paul Ravago and Brian
Yeah, it's
Hardin
been a
were
long
on the
time.
board.
Oh, okay.
The reason I'm raising is, this could maybe be something we should take off.
Okay, if you want to take that off, that's fine.
And then, of course, F and G, I'll just leave until next time so we can report on how it went. Okay, sorry, but that's all I
Okay,
had on
that's
parks.
fine. Okay, number 13, report from the deed restriction committee. I'm looking at this, do we have anything?
Did we approve the minutes?
We approved the minutes on Monday of the DRC.
Okay. And actually, okay, so A is pending fines. I don't think we have anybody here. B is district rules governing violations. I don't think we have anything there. Approval of minutes, we've taken care of that. Report from the DRC. I don't think there's anything to report there. E, we're still waiting on 2202 London Lane to re-violate. Is that what we're waiting for? Okay. F, we've already taken care of F. G, request from neighborhoods, we're okay there. H, restrictive covenant management agreement between district and Sage, that's still a work in progress. Okay. 14, report from investment committee.
We don't have anything.
Nothing, and A is district investments, policies and procedures, nothing there.
Wait, when should we take up this arbitrage thing, Bill?
Right now.
Under 15A.
Okay.
Under 15A.
Okay, so 15, report from audit committee. Nothing to report. 15.
Well, 15A.
15A, that's what I was gonna do.
15A, okay.
15A is the arbitrage analysis, and that's what you handed out, correct?
One of the things.
Yeah. So maybe Bill can explain what we're doing here?
Yeah, I'll introduce the topic real quickly. So, including copies I passed out, there's a clip on it.
Okay.
And what you have in here on the top are 3 proposals for new work on the top, and then the reports that were generated by this consultant. You probably recall we hired this consultant on recommendation of bond counsel, and the scope of the work was defined to review our prior bond issues. We have 3 outstanding bond issues right now, and so they reviewed those for compliance with IRS rules regarding arbitrage primarily. The secondary review is yield restriction review, and that's a little different. So the reports are there. They found no arbitrage, and the reports you don't have to send anything to IRS on those, and those are all clean, which is good news. We do this so we can put it in the file in the event the district's ever audited. We say, hey, there's our report. Saves
don't
a
have to do it
lot of
then.
work and headache and
Right.
potential problems. But they did find in their work that 2 things that one of the issues is up for the 2005 issue is up for a 5-year report in August. So they're asking that we get approved for that work. The IRS now recommends strongly that every 5 years you do this report, and if you owe any money or any problems, then you file it then. This is a relatively recent development. The rules on arbitrage have been there for a long, long time, but starting in, I would say, the mid 2005, 2006 maybe, became apparent the IRS was going to get more serious about this, and that some districts were getting audited and everything. And so these companies, this company and there's another company called BLX, actually they weren't in business back then, but they've come about as consultant companies to do this work, because otherwise it would be like somebody like Chris or another CPO. It's not really in its field. And so now everybody is much more sensitive to these rules and regulations for determining whether arbitrage has occurred, or the other circumstances, whether you exceeded the yield restriction. And that's a little more complicated. That's based upon making money on money that you haven't spent from bond issue yet. And as we all know that after 2009 until recently, that was almost impossible.
Because the rates were so low. So basically, at a high level, the concept is you borrowed a whole bunch of money, real cheap, and you're investing it and earning a higher rate of return on that invested money.
Simplistically, yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing to remember is that you borrowed it with tax exempt bonds.
Right.
And that's where, people that make, that you pay the interest on the bonds do not pay income tax.
Right.
So that's why the IRS cares about you making a higher rate. They want to recoup that.
Okay.
And the circumstance here, it's in the report, but I'll try to be simplistic about it, is at one point the district had a lot of money in surplus bond proceeds. And what surplus bond proceeds are, you have a bond issue, And it turns out the circumstances were a little different. Maybe you got a better interest rate. And actually, after funding all the expenditures from the bond issue, you had extra money. So you put that in your surplus bond proceed fund, capital fund, we call it. And at one point, this district had a lot of money in it. I think it was close to $1 million in that fund. And Louis, you might remember, we spent down that fund by applying it to maintenance costs on bonded things, which does not require TCEQ approval. It's not going in for a new approval. And so the funds were essentially spent properly as quickly as they could. But apparently this one issue, 2003, still had some money after 3 years. And coincidentally, it was close to, I think the year is 2007, 2006. So that was when the economy actually was doing pretty good. And it hit 2009, we crashed. So they found some indications that we may have made a little more on interest than the bond issue. And so part of this work is to go calculate that amount. And they anticipate that you'll have to pay some of that to the IRS.
So, like, how much money are we talking about?
I can't tell you. That's why they have to do the calculation.
Oh, okay, so they're just saying, I think.
More than zero.
More than zero.
They know it's there, but
Yeah.
they have to calculate how much we owe.
Did you see my email to you, what I asked though?
I read your email.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's a couple of questions that you asked.
Yeah.
And one would be, should we go with the recommendations and do this work, or do we need another consultant, or should we look at different prices? There are really only two choices, and we looked at those proposals, the BLX and this company. And on the advice of Chris Lane, your financial advisor, and the committee looking at, we chose this company.
Right.
When I spoke with our bond attorneys, if you were to change companies, say, hey, let's ask BLX, how much would it cost to do this current work? They could not base their work on the other consultants' work. In other words, I don't think this consultant would do the same thing either. They'd have to redo that base work before they could go forward. So it's probably not a good idea to change horses in the middle of the process. So the recommendation from the consultants is that go forward with these three proposals, two of which deal with the yield restriction calculation. One is a normal 5-year report. I've given you copies of the proposals. They outline the scope. And then, yes, the three. And then the reports themselves, all we would look at is a motion to accept the reports, and then they would go in the file.
Yeah, I had another question, and I'd hate to spend $3,000 and find out we owe $300 in taxes to the IRS.
That may be exactly what we're gonna be doing.
But we don't have a choice, do we?
That's what I'm asking.
I think it'll be significantly more than
Okay.
$300 being like it. But even if that happened, Chris,
We don't
still
know
have,
how much it is without doing the work.
we still have to do it.
Okay. I get it.
So we had to do it, so let me see if I get this right. We had to do an analysis to see if there was an indication that there might have been some arbitrage.
And
It's
then,
not arbitrage, it's exceeding the yield restriction.
Exceeding the yield restriction. And because they came back and we went, yeah, I think there's something there, we don't have a choice, we have to pursue it.
Yeah, I think it's a little stronger than that. I think they looked at the rates that we were making on what the money we're investing versus the yield on the bonds.
Okay.
So I think they're pretty they just don't know how much, because they have to look at the time period, how much money was involved in each of those segments of time.
It's complicated.
so question, should we have a separate motion for each one of these, or?
You can do one motion on the proposals and a separate motion to accept the reports.
Okay, then I'm totaling it up, and it looks like it's gonna be around 6,000.
So we're looking for, but we're going to get another report that's gonna come back and tell us how much taxes we owe, is that the
That's what
idea?
this is gonna produce that, right?
Right,
Yeah,
that's what these are gonna,
Two of the proposals will do exactly that, and then we'll know how much we have to pay, and we'll process that.
Chris, I come
The
up
other
with-
one is just a 5-year report on the 2005 issue, which we expect will come back clean like these other ones. It's just every 5 years you're supposed to read it.
okay.
Now, once these bonds are paid off, you don't have to do this anymore.
Of course.
And on the bond issues that have been paid off, it's not an issue.
I know the question I had. Is is there a penalty if we would just say, let's wait for the IRS to come audit us and see what happens?
I would say the answer
That
is
is
yes.
that is, I'll just say that is the worst option,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
You wouldn't advise
No.
Okay, so we have three proposals, and the total on these is $6,650. So we can do one motion for all three. Okay, I so move. That is, I move that we contract with arbitrage compliance specialists for these three proposals, totaling $6,650 for arbitrage compliance services.
I'll second.
Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor? Okay.
And then I'd recommend a separate motion to accept the reports that are in this packet.
We have these two documents here.
There's a number of reports, 1, 2, 3,
Oh, I see, yeah, it is
Series
three,
should be
three,
four reports.
Four reports. And this is acceptance, but not, there's no additional fee involved.
Well, you approved the fees tonight.
Well, the fee, yeah.
You paid the check.
Okay, I need to sign something?
I guess what I'm getting at is, we never hear anything from our auditors saying, I don't see any allowance set up for arbitrage on your records, like reserve for arbitrage tax or anything like that. So if it's something in our due diligence as elected officials that, we should do this work, and if you don't, there's going to be a penalty for not doing it. I'm a little surprised that the auditors don't ask about.
Well, similarly, how did we become aware of this problem? Was it brought to our attention by our bond advisors?
I think
We probably got a letter from the arbitrage firm saying,
No. It was actually brought to the forefront by your financial advisor.
By the financial advisor.
But all the MUDs are engaging in this type of review.
Yeah, that was my next
the
question.
new-
It sounds like this is something that we're all having to
It's-
take on.
It's really mandatory. Now, being an older district and have more history, your history in these bond issues go back into a period of time when this wasn't really done on a regular basis. But all the newer MUDs that are developing are doing these reports every 5 years. Just like clockwork. Nobody's sparing this.
Just like your TCEQ reviews or
that's
whatever.
what I tell my clients when I do the sales tax review. I say,
What?
Everybody's doing it, so
Everybody's
you need to be
doing-
doing it also.
You don't want to be the only one. Not-
Yeah,
Yeah,
not doing
exactly.
But really, it is a more recent thing, but to recall how we got recommended we do this work now versus
Right.
waiting, I think it was Chris Lane that pushed that.
Well,
And I agree with her.
I just was concerned that, the IRS comes and we owe them $300 and, we spent $6,000 doing the work.
Okay, well, that becomes the next question. Do we need to have a line item for this? In terms of what we anticipate that we might have to pay?
Right. When will they be able to tell us that? I mean, is this a really quick thing or does this take a long time to do?
I don't know. I'm
Okay.
guessing 30 days.
Oh, well, that's quick.
Okay, so,
So I have another question.
Yeah, we could set up
April.
a
The
reserve
first
account.
two
Yeah.
appear to be duplicates from the cover sheet. Control 6, number 6.
2003.
It looks like they're
no,
duplicates.
they got different dates on them.
Yeah.
Where's the different date?
Well,
April
they're-
2005, something to
I think
2010.
they're
No, that's a
5-year
different one.
reports, so they're separated. Even though they're on the same bond issue, they're different periods of
Well,
time.
everything on this title page appears to be identical.
Well, what have you got? Hold on. I've got a Control 5.
No, I'm looking at Control 6.
Okay, I've got Control 6.
Now, you should have another Control 6, unless I got too many.
Yes, but look at the dates. For the
Well,
5th year
yeah, one
rebate,
says
the
5th
10th
year,
year
one
One's
says
rebate.
13, one's 18.
Well, one says 5th
Oh,
year
for the
and one
10th
says
year,
10th
there you
year.
go.
Yeah.
There you go. Got it, okay.
So they are
Good.
different.
I missed it.
Okay. Okay, so which report do we think something's gonna pop out of?
Well, it's the 2003 bond issue.
The 2003,
And so as far as your reports where they talk about it,
oh, hold on.
See,
don't see it on
If
the
you look
front.
at page,
What's the?
page 4 of the one that says, I think it's the first report in the packet.
Control 6.
Arbitrage, rebate, and yield restriction compliance, 2003 issue. It doesn't have the little control numbers. It has the bigger font. It should have been the first report.
That would be this.
This one. Okay, this
Yeah,
one
we have
here.
copies, it's not colored.
Yeah,
I see it.
yeah. Okay.
If you go to
So-
page 4 of that report, executive summary, that'll make the most sense to you about what the
Okay.
project fund yield restriction. Just put it on right here.
Okay, hold on.
So part of the reason they got a hold of us is this due date of the report, August 16th, 2020. So there's some sort of.
Yeah, one of the proposals is to
some
do
sort
a
of
5-year
algorithm,
report.
yeah, okay.
So, the recommendation was, okay, let's do it so it's timely. The others two are on the yield restriction.
Right, okay.
Okay, do you suggest the separate motions or one motion to accept these studies?
Just one motion to accept the reports.
Okay, I also move.
I'll second.
Okay, any more discussion? Okay.
And Lee will have to, perhaps Lee will have to get with him to get the proper description of the motion.
Okay. Okay, report from the Bills and Invoice Committee.
Okay, I want to get into that.
Okay.
Yeah, I have some questions. So,
You want to talk about that?
yeah, so what I want to get into is this business of this DRC meeting that, at Frida's. And so, number one, I'd like to talk about what actually happened, and number two, what I think we might want to do to make things clearer for the taxpayers. First of all, as I understand it, there was a DRC meeting,
It was an annual DRC meeting.
and it was DRC meeting with you and Catherine.
And the contractor.
And the Sagenses. And at that meeting, we have a bill here, and usually, you had alcohol, which you didn't charge.
Right.
Now, often when we have these meetings, we'll put up money to cover our part of the bill. So did you put up money to cover
Yeah, I threw money on the table to cover
your
cover
alcohol
yeah,
portion?
Yeah.
And then you put it on the credit card?
Yeah, everybody, I
Yeah,
just put it on my
okay.
credit card.
And then you guys put up the cash to cover your part of the meal? Yeah. And that was submitted then by Chris for reimbursement. So that means you guys should get that money back from Chris. Perhaps that was an oversight or perhaps a misunderstanding on my part. You put up the money, Chris got it back.
We put $40, I think it didn't, I don't know if it was the whole amount.
So you guys put up some amount of money to cover your part of the bill. And then, Chris, you put it on your credit card. So the cash that you put up went to the restaurant, or I assume you picked it up?
I don't even remember, I don't remember.
Okay. But you put the entire bill on your credit card.
It was the tip.
I thought you put up the tip.
I'm sorry?
I said,
If it went to the tip, it went to the tip.
I mean,
That's why.
I thought I was
Let me
paying
see
for
it.
the
Is
entire
there a
meal.
tip on there?
That was why I put it on my,
So what, that's what I understood, that you were paying for the
yeah, I
entire meal.
thought I was paying for the entire meal.
And-
I don't
and-
even remember $40,
and
I'm sorry.
Catherine
This
put
happened
it-
in September. I mean, lots of it happened since then.
Okay, so Catherine put up to cover the alcohol, because you could not submit the alcohol.
Right.
They put up to cover their meal, and what they put up, if it was to cover their meal, then if you got the recovery, it should have gone back to them, but if it was a tip, then it would not.
It got used for the tip because the tip is not on this receipt.
Then it got used for stuff.
A
Yeah.
$40 tip.
Yeah, we tip
For
well.
for 140? It's not bad.
That's really good.
140, 20% would be $28.
That's what I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
We're trying to pay our portion.
Okay, so
I thought I was doing the whole
So
meal.
I think what anybody can see here is that you have a situation that really shouldn't occur, in the sense that when I go to any kind of a business lunch for meetings and so on, I pay my own bill. And I don't submit, there's nothing illegal about submitting, but I just don't do it. I just pay my own bill. Now, what I think we ought to do, and I'm going to propose this for a rule in the future, and we can't bring it up tonight, but I want to let you know what I'm thinking so you guys can think about it. I think we ought to have a requirement that if you submit for reimbursement for meals and so on at a meeting, other than conferences is a different situation. If you submit, you should only submit for your personal expenses. That is to say, aggregating that their bill and Catherine's bill and your bill into one submittal for reimbursement. I think we ought to have a requirement that Lisa does not accept reimbursement requests except those to cover the actual cost of the individual. That would get away from all of these concerns and all this uncertainty
Yes.
and possible misunderstandings.
Yeah.
For example, I think it's a very reasonable criticism for someone to say, you're having a splendid meal on the taxpayer dollar. I wouldn't do that. And I think some people might reasonably say, as Sarah has said, that seems improper to spend the taxpayers' money for you to have a good meal. Now, that's not illegal. I choose not to do it. Some people may choose to do it and get reimbursement. But if we have a requirement that only reimbursement requests will be entertained if they're for the individual's personal expenditure, not aggregating other people, then that would eliminate a lot of the uncertainty and a lot of the vulnerability we have to criticism and justified criticism. So I'm going to work with Bill to see if we can put that into some language that we can put on the agenda
Now, is that
for the next meeting.
So is that something that needs to be handled just with Bill, or is that something that needs to come from a different committee? How do you want to handle that?
Well, I'm not sure about that question.
Well, let me ask,
Yeah.
I thought we could never submit anything like that. Like Catherine and I have met and we always pay our own.
That's what I always do.
Yeah.
But not everybody does that. Some people,
Okay.
some
I was
people.
under the impression that it just wasn't done.
Well, I never do it.
In 12 years, that's probably the only time I've done it. And this was a annual meeting that we got together with Sage to discuss business. I didn't even pick the place. I was told this is where to go.
Well, it first came to my attention when you were the security committee, and you and Kevin used to have lunch together, and I thought that was submitted for reimbursement. When you would pay the bill for you and Kevin to have lunch, and then you would submit it for
We
reimbursement.
had breakfast a couple times,
Yeah.
but there wasn't
So,
lunch.
so what I see what happened is that Sarah brings up some very reasonable concerns, and I think the way to eliminate the potential for misunderstanding and suspicion is to have some rules that require that only expenses, if you're going to submit for reimbursement, only expenses for yourself be submitted.
So it's not
And my personal suggestion would be that I don't ever submit for myself, and you don't. I think we all should
That's
operate
fine.
that basis.
That's fine. Like I said, I can't remember the last time I did that. This is a once in a time that we had an annual meeting discussing their contract and the work that they do. Just won't do it again.
Okay, well,
it's not illegal?
the question.
No, it's not illegal. We're elected officials.
Well, could you ask Bill that question?
The question that you asked is, should this go through a committee? Bill, do you want to express an opinion about that? How should we handle this? The confection of some language for, let me add, we already have a rule. We already have a rule about for what?
Let me try to address it.
Yeah.
If I don't answer everybody's question, I'll come
Okay.
back to it. Yes?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So the district does have some rules in place on reimbursement of expenses. And in the past, it's been a while, you remember Brian Harden really focused on mileage. And we had a director leave the district years ago. I won't say his name, but he was on the board for 4 years. this is before most of you, for 4 years, didn't turn in a mileage reimbursement for 4 years. When he knew he was going to get unelected, turned in 4 years of mileage expense reimbursement. And of course, it's subject to board approval. Brian Hardin sat on it for a long time, and we never paid it. It just went away. All expense reimbursements are subject to board approval. So we need to be sure that the process is such that the board knows what they're approving on expenses. So when it goes to bill and invoice, and it's just a per diem and it's well documented, that's probably not a big deal. But expense reimbursements should be looked at more closely. When you guys go to conferences, we talk about it in advance, and we do have a policy on the limits that rooms can be,
Right.
the limits what meals can be, and so forth. And if you go outside of those, it would have to be approved by the full board. And again, those would be tagged. This is actually an unusual circumstance, like Chris said. It doesn't happen real often. The rules for reimbursement requests are you request your reimbursement. So what Lewis is talking about when other directors are included in the tab, it really needs to be separated out, and each director should make the request. And
I did it for just convenience sake.
And this may have been the first time it ever happened like that.
I can't think of it ever happening before.
So normally you don't devise a new rule to address something that really is already in place, which is each director submits their own expenses. Nobody should be submitting.
So you're
other
suggesting we don't need any new rule?
Not for that part, not for that part. Now, as far as reimbursing meals on travel to conventions, we have a policy for that, and you're all familiar with that, and you've all done that. As far as committee meetings and meals at committee meetings, there is no prohibition against it. It's not in our rules. It sounds like some of the directors have decided not to submit that. They don't feel it's appropriate. Again, it's subject to full board approval. So since we don't have a rule on it, it is legal. It's legal for the board to approve reasonable expenses of directors, but the full board has to approve it. So if you want to write up a rule, we're going to put in our reimbursement section, which directors will not be reimbursed for meals at committee meetings. We could do that. If absent a rule, it has to come to the full board, and you could decide. There might be a special circumstance in the future where it would be appropriate. Also, on mileage, for example, and I think that question's best. Can I put in mileage when I'm driving around town? Can I put in Brian Hardin did this too, and I don't know, some of the other directors participated, supported it. We have a rule against charging or putting in reimbursement for mileage if you're coming to a regular meeting at Old Mill or a committee meeting at Old Mill.
Where everybody lives.
Right, that you shouldn't be getting reimbursed for that. We have a rule. Not that it would be illegal, we just have a rule that for this district, you don't get that. But if you go to a meeting that is not here, such as infrastructure at Gray Engineering, or if there's a meeting at my office or meeting some other location, you can charge or request reimbursement for that mileage based upon the IRS rate. So I think probably we have a number of new board members that we haven't really looked at these policies for a long time. If Brian was here, he'd know exactly what they say. But this circumstance that's come up, yes, we could have a rule against any reimbursement for food at committee meetings. We certainly could have that. Or we could just go with what the current rule is, that it's not addressed, so it has to come to the board on case-by-case basis. But nobody should be submitting reimbursement for for some other director.
Okay, relative to that point, that's exactly what I want to fix on. And I don't think, you're saying no one should, but we don't have a rule saying that.
Well, it's embedded essentially in the system and the law that to get reimbursement, you have to submit it. But you're requesting reimbursement of something that you have an expense for, not somebody else.
Okay, so what I'm looking for then, perhaps we already have it. I'm looking for guidance so that if somebody, erroneously or not, submits to Lisa a request for reimbursement for a meal where that person is picking up the attendees' meal bills, I want Lisa to be very clear that she has the authority to say, no, I can't accept this. I can only accept a reimbursement request for your personal, for your costs.
Right.
Are we there?
Yes.
And to
And
a point, just to clarify, if something's submitted to me that way, and that's what you decide on, I'm kind of relying on you guys to be honest about what's yours and what's not, because it's impossible for me to go, okay, this was yours, this was yours.
Right, right.
Well, you shouldn't have to
Yeah.
separate it.
No, we should separate.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
yeah, what she's saying is, this particular instance that doesn't really happen very often.
Right.
Obviously, there were more than one person or two people there.
Right,
So
right.
it implied other directors and the paperwork had other directors. If you submit something that other directors incurred, but the paperwork is like one receipt from somewhere and
Right.
has some items, you would never know.
Louis, one of the things that I thought would be helpful in this situation would be if, as part of the financial report, the per diem and expense reports were just, for the directors, were just starting to be included. Because every month we're all, at the first of the month, we all get the same email from Lisa, please fill this form out and submit it to me, and I'm saying, well, why don't we just, since
the
we're getting,
same time.
well, because we're getting a check for it at the same, so why don't we just include that, make that just part
So
of the.
that would stipulate when you submit. But the issue that, I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's
Isn't
good.
that what we do
But the
anyway?
issue that's been
That's what we
raised
already
here
do.
is
That's what I
that,
do.
well, sometimes people submit, I have submitted between per diem reports.
Oh, I've never
Oh,
done
I never
that.
So
that.
what we need some clearance, some clarification on, is that Lisa gets a request for reimbursement from board member A, and that board member A presents a restaurant ticket. Unless the board member lists that it was just his, Lisa doesn't have any way of knowing whether that involved one person, two people, or three people.
Well, that's approving.
Yeah, and when building an invoice committee, it doesn't have a way. So maybe, you know how on our per diem forms, the per diem form stipulates, you say, these are the meetings I attended.
Right.
We could have a reimbursement form that says, these are expenses of me personally, or something like that. I don't want to put on Lisa the burden of having to try to figure out whether it was only the personal expense of the person.
Right.
So that's all I can think of is how to do that. What do you think, Bill?
I think that's a good idea to have a form that you submit your expenses with the form that says these are
I thought that's
expenses
the
I
only way we
incurred.
did it.
Yeah, I do too.
And when I send that email, you have two attachments. One is that one sheet, and one
Right.
is a dates.
In the per diem, and there's a second sheet that's Excel that you can list out individual
You do
expenses.
that, and I never use it, but if we, does that have a stipulation on it saying these are my expenses, personal expenses?
No, but we can add that for your district,
Let's add that.
because that's not standard across the
Yeah.
industry.
Is everybody comfortable with that?
Yeah, definitely.
That's the way I do it. Regarding mileage, you said here, we don't claim it because we're so close. What if we come here on our lunch break and then go back to work after our lunch break? Even though the meeting's here, like tomorrow, let's say I worked over at Infomark, not that I do, of course, and then I had to drive all the way here for the 11 o'clock meeting and then drive all the way back.
That's a good point.
We can't claim that?
No.
Okay.
And part of the reasoning was that if you have a scheduled board meeting here or a scheduled committee meeting here,
Yeah.
you know about it, you know where it's going to be. If you happen to be somewhere else that day,
Right.
and this is where it came in as you're somewhere else, maybe not at your house, you're downtown or you're San Antonio or whatever, and then you
Yeah.
come up, you'll be prohibited from claiming all that
Okay.
mileage.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we've come up with here is that Lisa's going to add to the form for expenses stipulation that the person signs and says, these are my personal expenses.
Right.
And
And then you're gonna start
Would
in.
it help if we make an adjustment to the code of ethics and then it can reference that document as
Backup for whatever you decide to put in.
Did you have your travel and reimbursement policy that all of this is in?
Yeah.
It's in the code
Yeah,
of
let's
Hey,
ethics.
we need to have a sentence in there saying you can only submit.
Well, what I'd recommend is I'd go ahead and put the statement on this form. That's sufficient. We do need to we have this policy, it's a combined policy, and we do need to review it and update it because sections of it are very, very old. And so in the interim, I think we can go with this statement on it, and then we'll review the policy in total, because it has things other than mileage reimbursement in there, and put it on the agenda to look at the whole policy. I think it needs updated.
And what would be
Look
the
at it.
appropriate committee for that, if any?
And then we can all look at it and kind of be refreshed since we haven't seen it for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would that be the budget committee, maybe, like the finance committee?
Well, there's several things in the policies. And that's up to you, Catherine. I mean,
Okay, so I think we should, why don't we put it in the billing and invoice? Because I think you said it best, Louis, when you said the billing and invoice is the last,
That's the last test.
yes.
And if the billing and invoice committee is not able to figure out what's really involved, then we got a problem.
Right, right.
And that's what seems to be the case.
Just like we did with the $1,400, we
Yeah.
had questions.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so so I'm gonna throw that over the fence to the billing and invoice committee. But we are then gonna start including just the submitted, per diem forms and the director expense forms as part of the financial report. Is that the place to put it, or the management report?
Well,
Yeah, okay, you're hedging.
you start adding a bunch of stuff to the report, and it's gonna go.
I don't think we have to report, I think we just have to adhere to the
I would
policy.
suggest, because even if I were to do like a quick summary from QuickBooks, it's just gonna say reimbursement or mileage reimbursement, it's not gonna give you detail.
No, I'm talking about the report the thing that I send you every week, every month that said, I was at this Parks Committee, this board meeting, this DRC meeting, I met with this HOA. I'm just saying include that, we're all filling those out, just include those sheets. Because that's what you're using to generate the per diem check.
I also want to just clarify that any mileage to and from our home to these meetings is prohibited, right? We're not-
you can't request reimbursement for that
And
under our
even
current
if I'm at
policy.
work and I come to an infrastructure meeting here, that's not reimbursable?
Correct.
The mileage?
Okay, so you're hesitant about that. We're just adding way more and more pages.
It's just adding this and that and here and there, and,
Well, you have
if that's what you want to do, then I.
But maybe I'm missing something, Lisa. You have a piece of paper you send us, two pieces of paper. One form is the per diem form, and it stipulates I have done this, and then we fill in the blanks. And then you have another form for expenses. And so what we're saying is you add a line in that form that says, just like you have on the per diem.
About personal expenses.
Yeah.
But you're wanting me to include all that in the packet.
Right,
Submit it.
yeah.
Were you talking about in the report she
In
made?
the report, yeah, in the finance, so.
What would she include? What would she have?
Just the per diem report that,
It's already in there.
no, I'm talking about this. I don't see that, I've never seen this.
Well, we see it in the billing and invoice meeting. I think that's enough. Trust us, we'll get it better next time. We'll never miss that. We'll never miss a
Okay.
Frida's one again.
No, I'm talking about this report. Don't you think that should be in the report so you see mine,
I see yours every month in billing and invoice. You
Yeah.
want to see everybody else's?
That's what I'm saying, yes. Don't you think that's what we should be doing?
No.
Okay, you don't want to do that, okay.
I think billing and invoice is enough.
Okay, we'll
And
let
if
it
it
move
becomes a
on.
problem, we can look at it.
Yeah, we're the checks and balance, so I
Okay,
think we
that's
need
fine.
to do a better job
That's
of
fine.
catching it.
Okay,
Okay, that's what I wanted to cover.
okay. Agenda item 17, report from the Budget Committee. Do we have anything?
No.
Report from Customer Care Committee.
I don't think we have.
I don't think, 17, or, I'm sorry, that was 18. 18A, answers from prior questions. I don't have anything. Okay, number 19, video recording of board meeting by district. We've kept this on, do we need to take it off?
Well, we're having some problems now. Jimmy, am I correct that they're controlling the recording today, remote control. So the pad, again, is giving problems. So we have some glitches we got to straighten out. And what I'm hoping is that Lee can work with you, Jimmy, and get the Willett down here if necessary and get this straight, because this is an important function that if we don't do it right, we're losing the record.
Okay, so did we have the same problem on Monday?
Monday, we don't have a recording.
We had a glitch.
We have a
Big glitch.
silent recording. Video, no audio. So it's
We're gonna have really
Can't
good
pinpoint
minutes.
the problem?
they say they can pinpoint the problem, but their description is beyond my ken.
Okay. Okay, so who's on top of that from
I'll
Infomart?
put it as a directive and Lee and.
Okay, okay.
And Lewis and I are gonna have a meeting
Yeah,
about it next week.
they're gonna have to get this straight. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I love it when it's working. I mean, I think it's great.
It is, and we had no problems at all until the Monday meeting. We had no sound, and then today when you tried to set it up, it wasn't working from the pad where he controls. Now, they can start it up there, and they can stop it up there. But if we had to go into a session, lawyer-client session, we have to be able to stop it here. And yeah, you
Because we
can
are
you can
going
stop
to-
it now from the back.
Yeah, because we are going to go into executive session.
Oh, we are.
Yeah, we are.
And Jimmy, you know how to stop it then.
Okay.
And restart it.
Okay. Okay, we're going to keep that on the agenda then.
Yes.
Okay, amended resolution adopting rules regarding public's right to address the board of directors. What do we have?
Let me explain why this is on here. There's been a suggestion by Catherine that we consider possibly having executive sessions at the beginning of the meeting. And, some entities, county commissioners courts and others,
Do that.
They do it at the
state
front end.
agencies, they have it's pretty much a standing item up front on executive session. Sometimes they do it at the end, sometimes they do it in front. The idea is that there's a set time if you're going to have an executive session, it's going to be then.
Yes.
And then the people that really want to come to the meeting's audience can come after that. Typically, we don't always have an executive session.
Right.
Lately, we've probably had more lately. Tonight, we're going to have one on an item, but we'll probably do it at the end of the meeting. We can't predict we're going to have one every meeting. We probably won't have one every meeting.
Right.
So, based upon that suggestion, I looked at our current rules regarding public comments to see if there was something in there that would conflict with putting executive session before any public comments or other items. And there was just the one line in there that we would have to change, and I can point that out to you if you want to do it. So if we want to pursue the idea of having a standing segment for executive session, what would be involved is we would amend the agenda to address that. We still would have to convene an open session to make the announcement and then close the meeting. So it's not like we can just have the executive session before we let people in. People would have to come in, public could come in. We have to start the meeting, have the announcement, and then go into closed session. And then it would also mean we have to have a quorum there at the beginning. And then if it turns out we're not going to have anything to talk about, we're all going to have to wait till the end of that segment to commence the rest of the meeting.
Well, that's only if we've scheduled an executive session. Meaning, if we haven't scheduled an
No, you're
executive.
talking about a standing.
Well, there's two options. One is if we know, and we don't always know before the agenda's posted.
Okay.
But if we know we're definitely having an executive session, we could put the segment in the front if we
Right.
wanted to. But if we do a standing item, then we're always going to have to be here.
Right,
on that page.
okay, so I don't want to set a standing executive session. I don't think that any of us want to go down that road. But,
You have a whole lot of things on the agenda that are standing items
yeah,
that we just say, okay, we don't have anything here, so we're just going to go on to the next thing.
But
Yeah,
an
but
executive session is different.
If we had a standing executive session up front, we would put a time
a
period on
a
it, like
time- a hard
from
time- a
6
hard-
to 6:20.
So we would have to
That's
be
the
here to have
whole
that.
reason of doing it.
In other words, we couldn't say at the opening of the meeting, well, we don't have any subject matter for the executive session, so we're going to move on.
Well, it would defeat one of the purposes what Catherine, I think, was looking for, is predictability of when residents should arrive
Right.
for the start of the
That
meeting.
would be
We
defeated.
can't start early if we
That-
told them to be there at 6:30, we're done at 6:30.
That would definitely defeat the purpose.
So my suggestion is for now that we continue like we have.
Okay.
And try to do the executive sessions at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Unless there's some really important reason.
Okay.
That will allow the residents that want to leave. If they want to come back after, they can.
Okay.
And as you know, in a lot of cases, we don't actually take any action after the executive session. We might, but
Okay.
a lot of times we don't.
Right.
And then there's a lot more flexibility in the time, and I don't have to change those rules that we just talked about. But, I mean, we can reconsider it again. It's just that when other entities are doing this, they're setting aside like half an hour for executive session, and they use that period often. And if they don't use it, that means they still have to be there for that time.
Okay.
And I don't know that you guys want to.
No, we don't want to do that, no. Okay,
So in that case, there's no action on 20 tonight.
okay, so agenda item 21, report from the Information Management Committee. Is there anything going on with the website?
Jana,
Where'd you go?
you're up.
I had a scan. Yes.
Okay, so, Information Management Committee, the website, is there something going on with the website you wanted to talk about?
Lewis and I are going to meet next week to discuss a few updates that we need to do, right?
Correct.
Was there anything else that we were gonna talk about it? I mean, everything's looking really good. We have a few new events to put on there.
There's a few other things we talked about. I don't remember what they were. You put out a little email suggesting a list of things. I think you put it out today,
I did.
and that looked like a good list to me. I don't.
Projects, new projects, old projects.
Yeah.
It's on the agenda to get it, whatever dates you said, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Thursday between 11 and 2:30 of next week.
Okay. Okay,
Yes.
So do we have a date certain then?
Not yet. We'll get to you.
Okay.
okay. Okay, 21B, cybersecurity, we're gonna take that one in executive session. 21C, RVM recycling reverse vending machine. Okay, what's going on with that? Do we have anything? Mackenzie, I asked you to talk to, what is it, his name's Matt?
Matthew, yeah.
Yes, he said that we're talking about the machine?
Yes.
Okay, that it doesn't have that configuration at the moment, but they are working towards a different update for it, and
Okay.
there are a few new features coming out. He didn't want to quite release them yet because he doesn't want to give us false hope for something that might be there that's not. But at the moment, I gave him your specific recommendation or what we would like to see. He said it's not currently available to do that because he has such limited space to work with such a small screen.
Well, it looks like it's a really big screen.
I know, but to them to configure it all, it's pretty small in the amount of things that they can put in it
Okay.
and allocate space for. So
Okay, I just asked Mackenzie to, because it occurred to me, it's like, I'm saving all of these pop cans at my house, and I was getting ready to, go set up account and do that, and I said, I'm gonna get $5 for this, maybe, and it's fun. Well, it's fun, but you know what? I could just as well donate that to a group, and I'm going, so I asked her, I said, how about one of the options would be to donate to Lakeline Oaks HOA, Hunters Glen HOA, Valente Hills HOA, Andersonville West Neighborhood Association. So you don't have to set up your own personal account but you can say, I want to go give the results of my donation to these specific neighborhood organizations.
So his exact response was that they are getting a new version of the machine that can direct uncollected points to a default account.
Okay.
But the actual interaction would still be limited without an app. So you'd still have to have the app, but you
Okay.
would still have that option. He said he would also be thinking about other solutions.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
You're on it.
Yeah, she is.
Okay, so so that was 21C. 22, report from the Infrastructure Committee. Do we have anything from the Infrastructure Committee that needs to be
I think we covered
discussed?
everything.
We killed that one.
Okay. Report from the Management Committee.
I guess we gotta start looking at the contract again for
When is the contract up?
Well, it's another year, but I mean,
Which contract?
the,
Management, when is the Infomark contract?
it's 2 years.
Next year, next budget year.
Oh, you got lots of time. You got lots of time. Okay, report from the Solid Waste Committee.
I think we're good there, right, Ken?
Hey, wait,
Wait, waste management, are we getting rid of waste management or what?
listen, we need
They might be
to
getting
have.
rid of us, they might be leaving town.
Yeah.
That's
heard.
what
That's why I asked.
I heard that.
The
I heard that a
landfill.
month ago.
The
But wait a minute.
the landfill they use is filling up, and they're being told they can't have it, and that's why, I understand that's why they're trying to get away from serving people around here.
Really? I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think we should wait till, I mean, has their service diminished?
Well, hold on. I didn't. I will follow up and. When I was talking with Beth Jones earlier today, she says, you are not going to believe the mess that they made when they came through she says, I took video of them. She says, the cans were everywhere on my street when they came through. And so,
Can I get a copy of that?
yes, I will.
Because that's occurring without management knowing about it, and they need to know about that.
Okay, I will tell her to forward it to you,
Yeah, I would
okay?
like to see that.
Okay.
Have we had any complaints?
I've had 2 people who said that their trash wasn't picked up this week. Diana and Jimmy have said that there are a lot of cans out there that haven't been collected, but I've only heard from 2 people so far.
I sent you all an email with some pictures. The can was full, it was a trash can, and they were still out on Wednesday afternoon, and they hadn't been picked up.
But wait, and you've also got some person who is so frustrated by this, that person is saying they're gonna leave their garbage can in the street all week because they never know when it's gonna get picked up.
Okay, and first of all, we do not know that these people are not putting it out after the trash is picked up.
Yes.
That's-
That
One
happens a
of
lot.
them, I can guarantee with near certainty, is not. He is a board member from Huntsville 1.
Okay, if you can give me an address, and then I can find out why it's not being picked up, I'll check.
I'll send you the list.
Send me the list, because again, management does not every week drive around behind their trucks. They need to know this.
Okay, I wonder if they ever do.
Yes, they
Okay. Okay, agenda item 25, report from Records Modernization Committee.
We're
And
meeting
that
tomorrow.
is,
Happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Update.
okay, so everything, so A, B, and C is gonna be under, okay.
We'll have a report at the next board meeting. Yes,
Oh,
we will.
yay, okay. Okay, agenda item 26, service provider vendor evaluations. Where are we with the matrix?
That is going to be at the meeting tomorrow
Okay,
on the agenda.
okay, agenda item 27, traffic hazards in districts.
That's a standing item, and I wanna keep it on, because
Okay.
that's
I do
something, that's something we really wanna
Right.
accomplish.
Okay. Okay, agenda item 28, corrections or clarifications to misstatements or inaccurate information. Do we have anything to add?
I think we've covered several things that I was interested in.
Okay,
Oh, back to the traffic hazards. I'm waiting for the first request for someone to call in complaining about people putting signs up, slow, children playing. Have you seen these? Like,
oh, yeah, the people holding the sign.
And I'm going to say to them, if you're driving slow enough, there shouldn't be a problem.
I have one.
You have one?
Yeah, I had somebody
I have one.
complain to me, and I said, well, if you're driving slow enough, I don't see how they're a problem. And that person didn't know what to say.
People go really fast down my street.
That's right. I think you should, whatever you need to do.
They're popping up in a lot of places.
I think it's a great
In the
idea.
Okay. Okay, agenda item 29, license agreements with Williamson and Travis County. Where do we
Yeah, where do we stand on
stand?
that?
Okay. Well, as a reminder, we got a no from Williamson County, so
Yeah.
I think
So
some
that
of
was,
the directors were going to go to the county
Yeah.
commissioners. On Travis County, there was 2 issues, and one were, 99% down. The license agreement where we're going to put the solar signs, there's down to the exhibit and will be done. So that's going to be done
Good.
shortly.
okay.
The other question was, would the county agree to have this sign that was purchased that we wanted to put in the median, but they denied it? We know it's down in Anderson Mill West Special Utility District.
Yeah.
would it be okay to put it right of the sidewalk in the grass, put it in the right of way there?
Yeah.
And the answer is no. And see, the Anderson Mill Special District is in the city of Austin. That's not Travis County's
Okay.
Right,
jurisdiction.
City of Austin.
So Travis County, even though they're helping us on the solar sign and everything, they're real strict on these signs. So they said, no, you can't put that kind of sign in that location, but they would approve this kind of sign.
Looks like an E.
Okay.
Wait, where,
With just on a pole, and there's probably already one there.
Well, yeah, it would be mounted on a pole, and the location that you were asking about in the grass, if we can't put it in the
Okay.
median, that they would.
they would allow
Better
that pole.
Okay. What about?
take
Okay.
We'll
Sounds
take it, yeah.
This does not relate to the radar signs. This
No,
is not
separate.
in lieu of the
It's
radar.
separate,
No.
and
Separate.
it would be a separate approval, so.
This is Anderson Mill in Cashel Wood, where all the
Yeah.
kids try to walk
Yeah.
across the street to go to school, and they
Yeah.
So
nearly
if
died.
you wanna-
We need a guard. That's the only answer.
Okay,
And the
so,
ISD won't
so
do it.
we can move forward then with ordering,
Well,
or
you
they,
need-
will they
you
put
need
it in?
to- It sounds like we have consensus, you want to pursue this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we will ask them for details on, do we purchase the sign? Do you purchase the sign, reimburse it, the post, who
Okay,
installs it?
okay.
If that's what you want to do.
Okay.
In that location, right of the sidewalk.
Yes.
Yeah, right, yes.
On both sides.
4 signs?
Well, one on one side and one on the other side.
They're coming from different directions.
Yeah, they're coming from, yeah.
Because there's a big median in the middle, so
Okay. So,
Three sides.
One's got
there's
that.
How
really,
many
it's
si-
a
how many-
four-way stop,
how many
but
signs?
2.
2
2 signs.
signs.
All right,
Yeah, okay.
we'll pursue that.
Okay, well, you know,
30 we talked about.
every little thing helps. Oh, jeez.
Heroes.
Okay. Okay, we've already taken care of number 30. We need to do number 31, which is the minutes from the prior meeting.
I'm sure you have it on video somewhere. You must have it on
There's
DVD.
two meetings, the regular and the special.
Oh.
On the special, February 5, you have a corrected handout that's been redone. The other one's in your packet. So January 15's in your packet.
Okay.
February 5 is the
People like LeBeau, his parents were in a concentration camp. And a lot of the German actors, their parents were also, they did this. You can make them seem as stupid as you want. That's one reason it's so successful.
I never watched that
Oh,
much,
it's hilarious.
but I always remember the music.
Yeah, it's great music.
Because when that music came on, I always wanted to listen to it, and my aunt would always say,
And the other one is in the package?
Yeah, it's right here.
No, that's the one. that was-
Oh, yeah,
I have
yeah,
that.
it's in the package. It's in the management package.
Has he paid? Do we know if this dude's paid? This guy?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's, what is the executive session about?
I don't remember.
Cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity.
This is February the 5th.
Yeah, it's in front of that one. It's in front of
I
it.
thought it looked identical.
Smell equipment. Oh, these are really getting.
Yeah, that's
Borrow
why
your
it's
genius.
Long.
Okay, so where are we?
Yeah, next month's gonna be really long too, Louis.
Minutes from prior. Okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Okay,
I say yes on the minutes.
okay, I'll tell you.
Okay. Wow. I love these no action taken, no action taken.
I know, that's why I asked you what it was. I told you that not be the first Saturday.
Mhm.
I said it can't be that day because of the fairy garden.
Okay. Okay, this is the corrected one. So how was the corrected one modified?
Just the announcements on the executive session on page 2.
Okay.
The actual wording was inserted.
Okay. Okay. Does somebody have anything to suggest?
Looks good to me.
Okay. Okay. Who wants to make a motion?
I'll make a motion
To what?
that we approve the minutes as corrected.
Yeah, for both meetings.
For both meetings?
Yes.
Okay. Somebody
January
want,
15th and February 5th.
February 5th?
Right.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
She said, she voted yes.
Okay. I need, okay, we need to go into executive session.
Okay.